position to really ruin Danya's day.
Exactly, and that's key when you're able to shut down the
Opponent's
opposing
Sombra.
the opposing Sombra, yeah, whatever. I mean, the fact that Libero was able to perform today, New York, well-deserved victory for them. Paris, once again, back to the drawing board. We'll see what they're capable of the next time that they play on the main stage. But we have a match coming up next year in the Overwatch League, and it is going to be the Toronto Defiant versus the London Spitfire. You'll remember the last time London Spitfire played, we saw them get absolutely destroyed by New York. So which London's going to show up today, Hex?
Always the question, Semler.
Which London's going to show up today? We're going to find out right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Огонь по готовности! Огонь по готовности! You're powered up. Get in there. Apagando las... Apagando las luces. Damage. Apagando las luces.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for more Overwatch League. Coming up right now, we've got the Toronto Defiant squaring off against the London Spitfire. I'm Ilios on the cast, as always, with Wolf. And we're going to dive in for the action, because both these teams having some rough patches. London able to get a victory in their first match versus Boston, and suffering a loss. Toronto, only one match so far here in Stage 3, but they also have those new players. We'll get to that in a moment as we take a look at the standings. You can see Defiant there in that 11th place spot, going to be looking to climb up as much as they possibly can, whereas the Spitfire still sitting pretty in that top 6, but they want to make it back into the top 3.
Yeah, the story for Defiant really has been a story of falling as well. Remember, in Stage 1, they were top 4, and the strength of schedule comes into play. They've made a lot of changes to their roster, and they have slipped way down to number 11. What was once an all-Korean roster, rather, is now split up, added some Western players. We'll see if their mechanical skill can make a difference.
Yeah, London going to be looking to bounce back after that loss. The hands of the NYXL starting off the stage, though, had a very convincing victory over the Boston Uprising, who've looked a little bit out of sorts so far. But after this, people are thinking, oh, you know what? Looks like London's back on the rise. They're back in their grand finalist form. Then they come out and get smacked by NYXL, suffering a 0-4 loss.
I mean, I think that everyone knows there's a massive skill difference between New York Excelsior and Boston Uprising right now, so this is not that big of a shock that they would struggle here. Also, I really want to further that New York is a new team with Saebelby back in the roster. They're playing, I'm on a new box today. They're playing with the, they're playing with the Sombra. They're playing with the Sombra, and they're looking really good with it right now. So I don't fault London as much as I have to say the strength of opponent in New York was much higher.
Speaking of strength of opponents, we'll take a look here at the Toronto Defiant, sixth hardest schedule here in Stage 3. Have Spitfire today, then Charge, who have been, you know, on the rise overall so far lately, but then Gladiators, Outlaws, who just took down the Shock yesterday, Rain, who've been looking very clean in their matches overall, and then the NYXL at the end. These guys have two new players coming onto this roster that's predominantly speaking Korean, and they have all these tough opponents ahead of them.
Yeah, this is a really tough roster, or tough schedule. And when you look at Rain as well, for example, that's going to be at homestand, so you're going to have the crowd cheering against you there. I mean, it is tough. It's time to sink or swim right now for Toronto, and I think the fans are hoping for a swim, because if you end up potentially winless in this stage, it's going to be tough to actually make it into the season finals. So this is where they're going to have to take, at least you'd have to hope, half of the wins here this stage to hope for that run, that potential miracle run into the grand finals.
We had a very strong start versus Paris in that first series here in Stage 3. We'll see if they can do it here today versus London Spitfires. We go ahead and bring them out on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Toronto Defiant.
The Defiant, new looks all season long. You know, they came in as an all-Korean roster. They added I'm 37, the rookie. They added Shark and Gods as well. A lot of changes, and they haven't looked as stable as the first roster they brought, you know, the all-Korean roster in Stage 1. But we do have to look at this team as potential to rise back up in this stage with Shark and Gods on the roster. They look very improved in terms of mechanical skill. It's the coordination, though, I think fans are worried about. The language barrier is going to be a factor.
Yeah, just kind of have to try to tighten things up with that communication. Again, started strongly in that last series. Let's see if they can take that further, maybe even get a victory here over the London Spitfires. They bring them out on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the London Spitfire.
Defending champions and fan favorites here at the arena this evening. A lot of pressure on this squad right now to continue to perform. They had a loss against New York, and the big question is, will London try to run Sombra? That is an all top teams right now, a huge trend. The bottom teams were doing it earlier, but now all the top teams are adapting Sombra. We're seeing Saebelby play again. He's playing the Sombra. Vancouver dabbling into the Sombra. Even Shock has played Sombra in the past with Sinatra. And with this starting roster, we don't see Guard, but we may see Fury flex over the Sombra. We know he's very capable on. But I think that's a big question for me in this, because you know London come in as the favorites, but what do they show and what strategies do we see? Do we start to see a little bit more Sombra mixed in? Or are they going to keep it 3-3? Because that's been somewhat inconsistent for them in the past.
I mean, inconsistent across the league as far as what teams want to do. We saw the Sombra able to help take down the Shock just yesterday. So more teams starting to strike into that position. Well, but we also have Gods coming in here for the Toronto Defiant, predominantly going to be the Diva player. Do we see him pick up the Sombra perhaps?
I mean, it's possible, and I'd love to see it. Gods is a very good Diva player, and if you take a look at some of these highlights, you can see he's great at absorbing these important ultimates, the Graviton Surge in particular, but he's just very coordinated with this roster without being able to speak Korean, making these moves happen over here with aid. You can see that his mechanical skill is absolutely why he's brought into this roster, and that Toronto is figuring out the language problems later. I'm 37, also bilingual, so there's a lot that can come into bringing these two Western players into a roster that you know, it's the same sort of thing you see with Washington Justice with Arc. It's certainly going to make it easier, but it's not going to be a smooth transition for this stage, and that's a problem when it's a tough stage and you've really got to bring those wins back right now if you're Defiant.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, we're getting down. We're in the second half of the season overall. These teams have to climb up. I believe it was 11th place there for the Toronto Defiant. So still a lot of work to do. They're currently in that spot to try to make it through the play-ins into the overall playoffs at the end of the season. But you know, you don't want to be treading near the end of that line at the cutoff. You want to be as close to that top 6, if not within the top 6, as humanly possible, so you have that guaranteed playoff spot.
Absolutely. The play-ins are going to be very difficult, very competitive, very cutthroat. So, you know, even if you're in it, you want to be as high in it as possible for the seeding. So, I mean, every win does matter, every map matters, as we say. But for the Defiant, stealing wins away from top teams like New York, they're going to have to face later, taking a win against the New York Spitfire, or the London Spitfire here today, is going to be, you know, some of the most valuable points you can get. Then maybe things will go a little bit smoother for you heading into stage 4.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. If you can take any maps here, if not that series, that's going to be absolutely monstrous for you. Again, strength of schedule, not that great for Toronto.
It's rough, you know?
So anything you can get is going to be a net positive for you. We'll go ahead and take a look at our map set presented by Toyota. Kicking things off for Control, we will be going to Ilios, followed up by Volskaya again for Assault, then into Hollywood and Gibraltar. So keeping it classic with our maps.
Yeah, very classic indeed. So we head into Ilios. It's a map where you do see pretty traditional 3-3 most of the time, outside of Well, where you could see some variations there. Look at the starting rosters here. It will be the Reinhardt matchup between both teams. There's no Winston attempt here.
5, 4, 3.
He's not yet. Clock will tick down. We are into game here. We start off on Lighthouse. Will just be that Rein versus Rein up into the front line. For now, Fury gonna be sticking with the Diva. No sign of a Sombra on either side.
All right, well, Prophet versus Ivy is going to be the big story in the mirror here. Prophet has outperformed Ivy all season long on the Zarya, especially once he started to get more comfortable with the hero. So look for that to happen here again, unless Ivy has a fantastic performance. And that's where Gods can shine too, in terms of absorbing gravitons that are built faster by Prophet.
Well, inside track here to the point for the side of the Toronto Defiant. Stun forward on a Shark, but unable to find that kill. So now Cap going to be coming in for Toronto. London have to find an approach angle to try to break this defense. Start ticking up onto the point. Gesture, for the moment, hasn't really been able to net much. On the way towards that Earth Shadow, but Sharky gets pushed out behind the London Spitfire. They collapse. Prophet comes up with that kill. And now, without that big beefy shield to stand behind, they can advance over onto the point, try to clean up the rest of these members from the Defiant. Ivy going to be taken down. And this should just be the cleanup to a very fast flip, getting ready to come through for the London Spitfires and look to finish off these few remaining members.
You know, everyone's heard the term, oh, that trance a little bit questionable here from Neko. I don't think that's going to be able to turn this, especially with Nuss grabbing the double. But everyone's heard the term getting worked in the neutral, and that's what happened to Sharik there. It's not about a 1v1 matchup, a Rein versus a Rein. It's about displacing your opponent's team's Rein, killing him early, and that's what we just saw there. That's how Sharik died early. Gonna take a look at Nuss. He's able to turn this, or rather guarantee this. The trance comes out, and he's like, nope, you're not recontesting this one.
Yeah, and I mean, without that boop coming through for Nuss, perhaps Toronto Defiant can hold on a bit longer, if not win that fight. But Nuss single-handedly shutting it down and making Neko look a bit foolish with that Transcendence coming through.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad choice if they could try to turn it, but when 2 die instantly, you know, you do look foolish, as you say.
Yeah, that's all she wrote. God's going low, gets that Zarya bubble, staying in the mech for a little bit longer. Might have to retreat back to try to get that Mega back, but they know that he is not in the fight. Bomb's gonna be coming through as the double grab comes in. Shield gets raised by Gesture just in time to block that one out. And Fury still comes up with the kill. Shattered down from Shark, managed to find 2, but the beat's gonna be there. So London Spitfire still looking to win out the fight. Nothing but blue in that kill feed. They maintain control, they have the lead.
Well, Shark again, you know, in a great position to shatter, but it was ill-timed with the Brigitte already being dead there and London having positional advantage. Sometimes you see those moments where the shield is dropped, you see an opportunity and you feel like you've got to take it. But, you know, that might be a communication issue in terms of how the rest of the team is trying to operate around this fight. Notice Fury's position up here, looking to try to knock some of the members off, but he is spotted and retreats. Nuss up doing the same exact thing. Spitfire is playing aggressively far out right now.
Yeah, and Birdring's just gonna be taken down. Dark swinging away, managed to find that in exchange of the Brigidias, but now Gesture taken down. Prophet trying to claw this one back so they can maintain control. Has come up with that double kill so far, but he can see that the retreat call overall coming through, at least playing a little bit more passively, are the Spitfire. Prophet goes on a bit of a solo mission.
Super high energy too. I mean, he is blowing them up.
Yeah, and now they will be able to push forward. They shut him down just before that grab comes in. It's at the cost of 2, now 3 members on the side of Toronto, so 90% still moving up. London Spitfire might just be able to close this out.
Defiant got the first kill in that fight too, because Spitfire was split 3 ways between Nuss and Fury off on their own. Prophet carries them back into it. There's just no way. Almost 6 ults for the Spitfire now.
Nearly the boop up there onto Gods. Does manage to zip his way back up top. Shadow down straight into the shield of Shark. So 1 ult gonna be used, but now the grab comes in. Transcendence out from Neko as they try to stay alive. The answering grab coming through. The Fury says no. Helps take that one away, and the pin is good on I'm37. So advantage still here for the London Spitfire. Now 2 men down on the side of the Toronto Defiant, is trying to hold out hope, but Jester, he's gonna shut that down with a shatter. Cleanup kills coming through. OT plummets away 100 to 39%. Spitfire are able to take Lighthouse.
Spitfire are just dismantling Toronto Defiant piece by piece, removing the front line. The Western players often getting caught and killed first. Sharik repositioned to the side. They're killing him when he doesn't have that protection, or they're finding and demaking Gods when he's isolated. Prophet's, the healing they're putting onto Prophet right now is keeping him alive, getting him up to high energy. He died in that last fight, but not before doing so much incredible, impactful damage that led to the grab they had there at the end. Heading into Ruins, you could see a little bit more flexibility of rosters here. Potentially something like a Sombra could certainly be valuable here. You could see a Winston variation, but neither of these teams are heading down that path. So let's see if the Defiant can keep those tanks closer this time. That's their backbone, and they cannot let them get isolated. Nuss is doing a great job of finding them. Fury's doing a great job of pulling them away.
Meeting just here, top side of the point. These Ryan's just trying to dance around the statue. Nuss dropping down, looking for the boop. Doesn't knock them into the Spitfire team. He's looking to separate them a little bit, but now Shark forward. He's gonna try to charge back, but with that animation, standing still for so long, will get taken down. Fury comes up with a double. And he just gonna go up the side. Oh, Nuss, can he recover? Can he recover? He's trying. He's so close, and he's got it.
So Aid is also someone I want to talk about, because they've been running him over Roki their last 2 matches, and he was normally the Moira specialist you'd see for specific timings on control, but he's a much more passive player than Roki was, and you could see in that matchup, Nuss is definitely getting a lot more done. He's isolating these targets.
Yep, doing a good job of it. Gesture, getting those bubble shields still healthy, feels comfortable. Play up here onto the side. Another shatter gonna be blocked though. Shark, the shield raised, was managed to deny that one away, but Osen pops Gods out of the back in the meantime, and now that means the grab can come through for free out from Prophet. Scatter gets dropped in from Shark and doesn't find anything. They wrap around the corner just in time to get themselves safe. Bomb drop onto the high ground. Fury only gonna be able to knock Gods out of the neck again. London to retreat back over onto the point, trying to keep control of this, but Fury, a little late to the party, will get popped out and taken down.
Right, now let's see. Oh, very heavy commitment.
Managed to find Dosen. The shield comes in from Nuss's sound barrier. He does not die, but the point does get flipped over into the favor of the Toronto Defiant for now. London's still playing far forward. We'll just go ahead and retreat back for the moment. They keep getting chipped down lower and lower.
The Defiant need to be careful not to chase too far here, though, because this could certainly turn on its head like a dime, especially with that Graviton Surge being used so early, or rather so late in that fight by Ivy, but perhaps unnecessarily. He's got high energy, though, and the Spitfire will retreat and regroup. For the first time, Nuss won't have control of the high ground and try to knock members back, so they're going to have to take a slower approach. He's trying to get up there. You can see him on the right side there, and Shark does get out. Nice retreat.
Here. On the low ground, have that bomb, the Transcendence, now the rally gonna be up. I'm37 popping that one immediately. They play forward up the ramp a bit. London operating as a bit of a death ball as they approach this point. Now a little bit more spread out as Prophet is just trying to get that grab online.
They've got to transfer it, though.
Oh, Gesture, dangerously low. They barely try to keep him alive. Now the grab is coming in, and Shark's gonna be taken down. They baited him forward
so hard.
with Gesture's HP bar. Knew that they could keep him topped up. Don't even have to use the Transcendence for it. And Toronto Defiant, the blood was in their eyes. They push up to try to get that kill, and now it costs them potentially.
So smart by London Spitfire.
They finally managed to find him. The grab comes in, does catch them here. Sound barrier out to try to win the fight. They may actually be able to extend this. Benosen goes forward, but Prophet's already killed himself off with those right clicks. So the Transcendence doesn't really mean anything. Fury is going to be zipping back. Benosen gets tagged up. The pin coming through, manages to catch him. Toronto Defiant, they do not lose the point there. So despite The bait tactics coming in from the London Spitfire. Toronto Defiant managed to come out on top.
And they did it because of the isolation there. They knew that Bedosian wasn't in position to trance. The grab was smart this time. The previous grab from Ivy, a little bit, unnecessary, but this one was really the one that turned it. And the Spitfire don't have great tools to retake this. They're gonna have to do it in a longer fight, and the sound barrier will be required. They don't have a rally. We're getting close to that grab for Profit. That's their win condition.
The bomb is up over the top here from Gods, looking to close out this round as they are in overtime. Answering bomb from Fury, unable to find anything, but he will make it back into the mech. So far, an exchange on the Rhine to Shark and Jester both get taken down. Sound barrier shield's gonna be expiring. Now still pushing forward, looking to finish off 137, but he can't quite get him. And Profit's gonna be taken down. Now Fury way into the back line towards the spawn. He's gonna get bombed out of the mech. Spitfire in the meantime have been able to flip this point into their favor, but now they have to try to win this extended fight. And that's gonna be with the grab coming through. Transcendence gonna be expired, but Dosen and Fury instantly getting melted down. The Shatter not gonna be able to find much else other than God to flip back through. OT ticking away. Looks like we got one more round of Ilios coming up as Toronto takes Bruins.
Very well played by Toronto, especially considering the setups that London had. That bait with Gesture was, I mean, the coolest thing we've seen this map so far, where they were able to grab Sharik there before the trance could come out, putting him in that Graviton Surge, knowing he would be low in that neutral fight there. But the Defiant held strong, and they punished London Spitfire's aggressive positioning. Nuss caught a few times trying to look for those chasing kills. And that's a huge difference between Nuss and Aid in this Lucio matchup. Nuss is extremely proactive. He's up on the high ground. He's chasing kills with speed boost. He's not always with his team. He's trying to secure kills. Aid plays passive. He plays defensively. He's mostly on healing song more than speed boost compared to other Lucios. And sometimes that defensive style can really come up big for you when London overextends.
Well, now Winston going to be coming out, Gesture matching, so still is going to be having this mirrored 3-3. Shark jumping into the back. Drops that bubble to try to stay safe. Just trying to cleave as many people down as he possibly can. With Aid's help, they will be able to eliminate Gesture. Murdering falling low, Profit going to be taken out. All of this, 2 kills, only at the cost of God's mech, and he's nearly halfway back to making it back through. So first cap here on Well, going to be going the way of Toronto Defiant again.
Aid picks up another kill onto Nuss. He's leading Nuss's healing by 2,000 at the moment. And that just goes to show his playstyle, more defensively playing, like you're playing dodgeball to catch the ball, not hit your opponent. And the Spitfire come into this next push with not a lot of tools again. Profit leading in ult charge, but they don't have positional advantage.
Just waiting here. Shark said he's nearly got that primal online. Drops the bubble again, pushes forward, now has the ult ready to go. Gesture going to be sitting at 60%. Dive into the back, he's looking for some targets to go down into that well. Profit will be able to get rid of Ivy, so that's going to be a very nice first step here, but jump into the back. Some help from Neko means Bedosian will get taken out. No chance to use that Transcendence. Point still in control of Toronto. As they push forward and manage to finish off Burning. And London Spitfire, they're just hemorrhaging members here on these attacks, but now they're going to be coming back in with 6 ultimates.
And had Ivy not died, nor had IM37 used the rally, Defiant would be in a perfect position to hold this. Even still, they have the Transcendence to deal with Profit's grab. It's going to have to be a really long fight that Spitfire wins, where they're going to have to use their support ultimate second and win that longer fight. But either way, Defiant gets so much control percentage because of this. So it's kind of win-win for the Defiant right now on this defense.
Holding up that energy is Profit, sitting at 50 at the moment. Grab online, surges up to 90 very rapidly, and Shark's got to get the heck out of there. Keeps up over the wall to keep himself safe. Bubble in, Primal out now from Gesture as he tries to go into that back room, trying to get some knockoffs, but a lot of CC coming through, a lot of damage be offered up onto this Winston. Will be able to force out that Transcendence. Now it's going to be the bomb coming up over the top. Unable to find any kills, but Fury will be able to make it back into the back. Aid getting tagged up, just trying to stay alive behind that wall. Will be able to do so for now. Grab coming through. Ivy managing to catch a few. The bomb drop from Gods takes down Nuss. 2 members the advantage now for the Toronto Defiant. Fury alone in the back line again. For the umpteenth time, it would seem. Might just, will get popped out of that mech and will be eliminated. And here we are, 99-0 at the moment. The London Spitfire unable to flip this point whatsoever in this final round. And Toronto Defiant look to take the first map in this series.
Playing such a defensive style, punishing Nuss there with the bomb. One last chance here for the Spitfire now with no ultimates, and it doesn't look likely.
They have to stay glued to this point. That OT going to start ticking away very quickly. Pile driver in from Fury. A couple knockups. Needs to still wrap back around and play onto the point. The adaptive shield going to be used. Nus going to be taken down. Transcendence out from Medosa now as they try to miraculously swing this back into their favor. Lob in on the grab from Ivy, catches Jester. He'll be taken down, and that's going to be it. The rest of them zoned off the point. Toronto defiant. They'll be able to take Ilios with the 2-1.
Knowing their win condition, knowing they had to use their support ult second there, taking a decisive fight from the defender's standpoint, stepping off the point even. Great play from Toronto.
Well, another fantastic start to a series here for Toronto. Let's see how far it goes when we come back to the next map.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Toronto Defiant kicking off this series with a victory on Ilios, now setting their eyes towards Assault. We'll be diving into Volskaya very quickly.
You know, the healing numbers still massively favored Aid at the end of that, 3,000 above his opponent in Nus. And that's extremely rare for when you're winning a round for your healing to be that much higher, because usually your opponent's Lucio is a higher healing, or at least very close to you, because they've taken more damage overall, especially when you're looking at a 100-0 situation like we saw there on Well. And that playstyle that Toronto is rolling with, reactionary, is working very well against a very aggressive Spitfire today.
So far, so good here. We'll see London set up on the defense here from Volskaya. And, you know, another negative record for them coming into this map. 1-2 at the moment. I believe it was 1-3 on Ilios there at the start. So, not quite the map draws they would have liked, but have to be able to overcome those statistics and put those wins on the board.
So not going to be rolling with the Winston defense here, keeping it a little bit more standard. Want to keep the Rhine, and they are running the Ana, predicting that we will likely see some sort of DPS variation here, and it will be the Sombra Pharah.
Yep.
With Tracer.
I'm 37, just taking some pot shots here with the Widowmaker around the side. Mister has that shield raised. Dosen saw it get tagged up. Love being able to weave that shot in, but instead it seems like Neko might just have his back. Bionade's going to have to be used, as well as that armor pack will be able to keep the Ana alive. Neko not willing to use that recall yet, but he's going to have to try to get the heck out of there now. Fury chases forward onto that Tracer, trying to finish him off.
The crux of a composition like the one that Defiant is running is killing a target early. Usually Ivy will chip away at someone and they will go finish them off. Then you can win the fight. You only have one support, and that's Aid on the Mercy here. You're dealing with a ton more healing and a ton more sustain, bigger health pools on the side of the Spitfire. So if you don't get a kill early, Spitfire is eventually just going to clean you up because they have more sustain, they're harder to pull off the point, and they're building ultimates too. So this is a little bit scary if this push doesn't work out.
You can see just playing back into the garage, playing into that pack room here at the front. Just denying any sightlines away from I'm37, making him go into a collapsible position if he wants to try to get some shots off. That being said,
Huge
though, Fury's
opportunity.
getting knocked out of that mech. The bomb not quite going to connect there from Neko, but they managed to finish off the Baby Diva. Recall comes through, Neko straight back in, just continuously getting tagged by Medosin. Forces him back away from the fight. Prophet is able to equalize a bit as Ivy gets taken down.
Doesn't like there's a res gonna happen here. EMP's ready.
37 taking down Birdring. Big opportunity here. Is gone. We talked about this in the beginning. Do we get to see his Sombra play?
Yeah.
But he's here. He's ready. Minefield coming down to try to keep them contained inside. Well, several of them are going to get cleared up here at the start, but already 1.5 ticks going to be snagged. 3 members going to be hacked down the side of London as that EMP drops. Prophet wasn't one of them, but he still gets taken down nonetheless. Ivy wraps around the back looking for a potential target for this barrage. That comes up over the top, knocks Fury out of that mech now, does not have to worry about a defense matrix. Gonna take him down naturally, holding on to the ult.
He wants to use it for B if he can. He wants to be greedy here, and it's gonna work out that way.
Well, Jester going into the pin, that means he's gonna be pushed off the point here for the moment. He's gonna slowly tick up, but now AIM 937, both gonna be eliminated. Ivy falling low, gonna get cleaned up, and because he doesn't use the barrage, that might have actually cost them this attack here on A.
You know, that was it. You were so right about that. If they used the barrage, they guarantee A. They got greedy, they wanted it for B. But the same reason I just described as to why it gets hard to win this is once everyone from Spitfire respawns and gets back in, you don't have sustainability with the Defiant comp. The hack wears off. All the Spitfire to do is stick to the point like glue. Gesture and Fury did just that. The rest of them, the slower members, respawn and walk back to A. Now you have fantastic position. You can deal with the barrage without an EMP. Gods has built that, so that's the next combo you're worried about.
Pulse bomb lobbed in there by Neko. Unable to find anything. Birdring just going to be raising that shield. Staying safe here for the moment. Neko actually going to be taken down. Fury comes up with that kill. And you can see Toronto Defiant starting to peel back over towards their spawn again, but I'm 37 still going to get cleaned up, so it's another stagger, and there's only 44 seconds left.
And Nuss this time has the sound barrier critically. He was missing for the previous EMP. It was around 70%. Gods is going to get taken out. That's huge. He's going to have to reset here, and that means that they've got one last chance, and the whole crux of this push is going to be around the EMP barrage. Shark can drop in the mines. They're trying to keep the point held because they don't have healing to do that. The mines are going to have to do that. But it's very obvious what they're going to do, and all Nuss has to do is hide. Barrier, they've got a nano boost for Gesture. This seems very holdable for the Spitfire.
Gesture just getting topped up here. Toronto makes their way over onto the point. We're able to grab those first 2 ticks, so they start close to their goal. Minefield going to be dropped in by Shark, trying to keep them all gated away. Ivy drops in with a barrage. Prophet going to be taken down, but Nuss able to come up with that kill from range. But Ocean still just sitting in the back here in the garage, just taking pot shots, but he keeps everybody else topped up. Trying to get the sleep start there on the Gods, so the EMP does come through. It just 4 members, but Nuss comes in with a sound barrier to try to close out this full hold here on A. As A keeps going lower and lower, things start looking good. They can't make it back in, and London Spitfire will be able to hold this.
You can see some potential language issues here as Ivy, Shark, and Gods. 3 ultimates used separately of each other, not in conjunction, not in full coordination. And London Spitfire bring it back for the full hold. What an incredible turnaround.
Well, let's see how they fare on that attack. Just have to beat 93.7%.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Securing the objective.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. London Spitfire able to successfully full hold on Volskaya, point A. Toronto Defiant, they build up to 93.7%, but now London just have to exceed that ever so slightly, and we will have a tied-up series 1-1.
Yeah, Birdering with a pretty clutch stun. I was watching that last little highlight we had during the break on to Gods, right when the barrage was going down. You would think that he was trying to set up for an EMP at that moment, but he wasn't able to do it because he got stunned. Looks like Spitfire wants to match the composition here. I don't think Vidoshin will be sticking with this Ana if that's the case.
Scouting for the moment, it would seem, Gesture. We know this man's accuracy on the Widowmaker, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that.
When you've got 4 minutes to do this, why try to run the quad DPS when you know that in a 3-3 setup versus the mirror, obviously God's on the Sombra here, so slightly different, but when you're running basically mirror comps here, you know you should be able to get ults at least once, and all you need is 3 ticks and it's over. So cut the risk out, play safe, you have a massive advantage.
Well, for now, just trying to farm up. That's 34%. Gesture just taking a quick nap.
Let's see what Gods can accomplish here against the 3-3 now on the Sombra. You know, this is a really big test for him because he's going to have to be the one that cheats ult economy and brings them back from the brink here and gets them a fuller hold.
Well, instantly taking a lot of damage there from Prophet and the rest of them. Charge is going to be taken out in the front lines, and Gods just now exceeding 60%, getting closer to 70 towards that EMP, but he needs it right now. They do not have time to waste, and seems like he's just not going to get the opportunity. Will get taken out by Prophet. The cleanup coming through. Neko, all by his lonesome, will be the last one to go down, and London Spitfire will tick up to victory. The series about to be tied 1-1. Shark, he tags in for just a moment, but that's all she wrote for Volskaya. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a series on our hands.
Practically no contest from the Defiant there. Gods didn't even have enough time to build an EMP. Shark is once again isolated and killed, and that's all it takes. We've got a series on our hands, as you say, all tied up.
And we'll see who takes the lead when we come back. We'll see you guys on the other side of halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
The Toronto Raptors took down the reigning champs last night, and right now we have the Toronto Defiant trying to take down the 2018 reigning champs in the London Spitfire. So far, if you look at these numbers, pretty even. But this match, I feel like Spitfire's still the heavy favorites, right?
Yeah, they definitely are, and they did show that on that second map where they were very much the favorite
Yeah.
there. However, the first one, unexpectedly, in my opinion, actually was not a one-sided affair. I was very impressed what we saw with, from the new faces, and Sharik played really, really well. Gesture on the other side did not have a fantastic game. However, I did like that we see Nas back in there and not Quartermain. I do think that London Spitfire do look better with him in the lineup.
Yeah, it opened up reasonably well, actually. I think London Spitfire are winning a neutral game pretty often when it comes to the battles without the ultimate.
You just wanted to say neutral. Okay,
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It's my
Congrats.
favorite term. But as it went later into the series, the Toronto Defiant kind of had their numbers, a big part of this as well, being Neko, but rightfully so, as you were already saying. Sharik and Gods are playing even better. This is part of the reason why I predicted them today in the pre-show, because I had a feeling they're going to start meshing better with them as time went on. But
since you just praised Nick, I want to put him back down.
do it.
And
Yeah,
really
because I was
heavily
about to do the same.
criticize that Dragster was that. No, I don't want to see
man.
that again. Later in the game, he had to switch over to Ana. Still didn't really got anything done there either. So that was not a good showing. Just as we wanted to praise him for that first map, second
Yeah.
he really fell flat.
The entire DPS composition was just bizarre. Like, it felt like Toronto Defiant didn't really know how to play it as a composition, right? The entire idea when you're running like the Sombra, when you're running a Tracer, a Widowmaker, you're trying to collapse around the map, trying to remain spread, so nobody really knows what to really focus, and you're going to try and collapse on the target. And there was just no coordination. The entirety of that
Coordination
second match.
still missing. You got to wonder, is it a communication problem? Not enough time with each other? We'll figure that one out.
Yeah, they will have to figure it out, but we have to give them that much credit because, again, they've only had those two new puzzle pieces to work with, like, for a week now.
1 week.
So,
Yeah,
you know, they still have some time.
You guys got time, but we do have to highlight two players in particular, and that, of course, is the Zenyatta. So, what do the numbers tell us?
Well, let's take a look at what we saw from both of our Zenyatas. Bedoshin going up against Neko. And let me actually get out of the way so you can see it. Because, yeah, so we have the average time to ult on Bedoshin's side has been incredibly quick throughout the entirety of this match, actually, which is very, very, very impressive. Other than that, I think Neko was able to kind of go toe-to-toe. They both didn't really get taken out too much, which is great for the team, obviously. But yeah, Bedoshin just had a lot more free reign to really get stuff done for his team. Again, 56 seconds, like, that's an insanely quick time, really, if you think about it. He will have his ult for every single team fight.
56 seconds. Bren, you know the basketballs.
I'm aware
Sport
of them,
balls.
sure, yeah.
How many shots do you think you would make in 56 seconds? I guarantee you could not hit 3 free throws
3
in 56
3?
seconds.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
You've seen the size of me. I'm a unit.
That
I've seen
doesn't
you-
mean anything.
I've seen you throw things before.
Yeah. and I
Sports not
succeed
your
every
strength,
single time.
but
Doesn't matter.
I've got a little challenge here.
Yeah, your size will help you with this Zoe-sized basketball.
Can we please give 56 seconds on the
You're
clock, the
joking.
same time it takes to charge the ultimate for the London Zenyatta? Brent, you've already wasted 3. Go, baby, go. That's a throw. Keep
Yeah,
going,
feel free
bud.
to boo him. That's fine.
The crowd's getting behind it.
Oh.
I'm loving it. Come on, Brent. 1. You even got Kevin getting your own ball. Kevin's on top of it. Can we show some love to Kevin, our
So
stage
much
manager?
pressure.
He's sweating over here. Keep going, Brent. 30 seconds left, Brent. Go.
Well, this is going well.
Come on, crowd. Show Brent some love. Or continue booing. I'm down for either. Brent, 20 seconds left. You need 2 more.
No.
Are you done?
No, dunk it.
Dunk it.
Clearly, guys, we are not
I did it
as
one-handed.
good at basketball as we are at video games.
I'm not gonna lie. This is actually way harder than actual normal basketball.
Is it? No, it's not.
Don't even laugh at me. This thing goes all over the place. Look how bouncy this is. Whoa.
Make sure you follow Brent on Twitter if you want to hear his full excuses. That's going to do it for us. Halftime, guys. We got Game 3 coming up. Can Toronto steal this one? We'll find out in
I
just a
can't.
bit.
일단 제 이 프로게이머라는 직업이 저의 첫 사회 생활이면서 첫 직업이었는데 미국에서 쭉 일하고 있는데요.
부모님들은 그냥 열심히 하라 정도? 그냥 이제 네가 할 거 일 찾았으니까 열심히 해봐라 그 정도?
보시는 것 같아요. 근데 뭐 제 입장에서는 당연히 다 부셔버리고 오겠다는 마인드로 게임 하는 것 같아요.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're currently halfway through this series between London Spitfire and Toronto Defiant. Currently tied up 1-1. Ilios going the way of the Defiant, then bouncing back, full hold and utter domination on Volskaya at the hands of London.
Yeah, and you know, it's a big turnaround, obviously, but the way that we saw them play Toronto on Ilios is very defensive. They played a very control-oriented playstyle, right? Which isn't going to work as well when you head into a map like Volskaya, where they're running the quad DPS. So not running the triple DPS variation requires a lot of coordination, and London had it. They ran their 3-3, and they were able to find ways in, you know, and find weak spots against the somewhat lackluster coordination, to be totally frank with you, Achilles, that we saw from Defiant on that map. As we head to Hollywood, we'll see if things change.
Yeah, and I mean, the coordination is something that can be kind of excused to a certain degree. They do have these two new players coming in, English speakers predominantly, with I'm37 potentially having to bounce back and forth between the comms to help that communication be smoothed out. But it looked a lot better on Ilios, as you said, and then kind of fell off a bit on Volskaya. We'll see how they fare here as we move into hybrid. Hollywood coming up. We continue the trend of Spitfire not having good win rates on these maps. 0-3 at the moment here. But they got that win on Volskaya. Let's see if they can do it again here. We will have Toronto starting things off on defense, Spitfire on the attack.
They are going to be running Reinhardt, Zarya. Spitfire going to be running the Ana variation here, which is safe when you don't know what your opponent is running. See that they swap Badoshin right over to Zenyatta as soon as they see that it is, in fact, the mirror composition, because you're going to need the Zenyatta to deal with the opponent Zarya. And also, if you can get an early trance here in this choke, you can take the point off of that alone. We see it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, average time to build 55 seconds there. 4 Badoshin, so looking very good. If you really want to play some matches here. Either way, dangerously close. A second does go a long way in Overwatch League, but already the kills coming in for the London Spitfire, just kind of sweeping Toronto under the rug here on this first push. So getting ready to establish a very large time bank for the streets phase of Hollywood.
It's again just, like you said, a lot can happen in 1 second. And in this case, it was Shark once again getting displaced and killed. And the rest of the members of the Defiant are cleaned up by the Spitfire. Incredible time bank here, 5:30 to push this cart. The first fight win, which does happen on Hollywood, you know, more than other hybrid maps because of the open nature of the point itself once you get through that initial choke point. But I gotta say, you know, for the Defiant here, this is a consistent problem that we're seeing, and it needs to be corrected. Look at how far Shark is forward here, and he's gonna get punished by Nuss if this continues. Once again, they're looking to grab him. Look at the bubble early, and now they don't have it, and he's low.
Yeah, pushes forward. That's gonna be the shield bash and Profit. He's there to go ahead and get that final blow coming in, and Shark will get taken down.
This just keeps happening.
All the way up to the studio entrance here, keeping them contained back. This is buying so much free space for them, and the ult's still waiting to really come online for the Toronto Defiant.
There are a few main tanks across the league that you know like to play forward. You know you're going to be focusing on killing them. You know, Shark is perhaps going to become one of those faces if he keeps playing this far forward like this. They're always targeting him down. Here's the grab.
It has been trending that way. The grab does come in, but Jester's too low, so we can't push forward. Try to capitalize, get that swing damage coming in. Maybe even U-turn somebody out of the grab. We'll not be able to see that yet here. Kwon going to be tossed down. Shatter coming in, catches Ivy over on the side. The beat's going to be good for the run to the five. They look to stabilize. Finally stop this cart in its tracks. Vincent's used by Bados and trying to keep everybody alive. And Nussel moving on to the beat. Now going to be dropping it.
They can win this still.
Jester does fall low, and now as they push forward, Birdring will clean up Ivy. An extended fight here. Toronto looking like they might have been able to take it, but Spitfire come out on top again.
Incredible play by Nuss. He sees that they are focusing Shark down again, and they don't have the damage without Profit. He dies early in the fight. They don't have enough damage. Nuss says, look at how low he is. I'm going to force this with this sound barrier. He pulls a sound barrier off. Shark dies. Now it's a 5v5 fight. We can win. We have the extra overshielding. Very well played by the Spitfire. Again, these split-second decisions are going to come to contest once, but with the choke here, I just don't think it's worth it. They're going to back away. They would have fed over way too much ult charge if they actually committed there through that doorway.
Yep, and a very rare sight here. 5 minutes on the clock as they cruise into B. Very fast indeed for the Spitfire. That great pace coming through. Shield's going to be raised a little bit late. Manages to set up two into the back line with the Earth Shatter there to Shark, but Nuss and Profit. Two-member stun, not going to be taken down. No one else for Toronto can push forward and try to capitalize on that CC.
Look at how aggressively Nuss is playing, trying to look for Shark again. Here's the bomb.
Bomb gonna be thrown down. Shark gonna get under the ground, and even with that Transcendence coming through, it's not enough to save him. Jester claims the life of his enemy Ryan, now pushes forward, looks for a little bit more. His I'm37 falls dangerously low. Haven't been able to finish him off yet, but they'll take Ivy instead, get rid of the damage, and now clean up the remainder. Cart gonna start rolling through again as Gons gets left to his own devices in the back line.
It's just that classic combo, bomb shatter. The Ryan's gonna have to look one way or the other, and when you're that far forward, I mean, to be fair, all of Defiant was, but when you're in the front line, I mean, you don't have much of a choice in this case. All Spitfire is focusing you.
Grab coming out, the beat is there. Abe trying to keep his team alive. Jester gonna be taken down. Now the charge forward here, Toronto Defiant finally winning a fight, finally stabilizing and stopping this card for the first time since we started this attack on Hollywood.
Yeah, a bit overzealous there by Prophet. Some blood in the water. Was hoping to get a solo pick because everyone was regrouping, but the response was good there from Shark. He's able to turn that one around. Gesture looks to go in for the charge, but gets taken out himself. They turn it around. Rally is probably going to be the next path of approach here for London Spitfire to try to build that grab.
Oh, Ivy throws in the Graviton Surge, but Fury, he does what he does best, just goes ahead, takes away that grab. Ivy falling low, nearly taken out. Trenton is going to be used by Neko just to keep him alive. Shark approaching another Earth Shatter. Jester has his ready, slams it down, but again, comes up with nothing. The blocks, at least from Shark, have been quite good. But Cart continues to push up, still with 3 minutes in the time bank here for the Spitfire. Bomb into the back from Fury, manages to clip Ivy, they take him down. I'm 37 with a sliver of HP, trying to survive. Shatters it from Shark, stuns up 2. Goshen, however, going to be using that Transcendence to keep the fight going and try to keep it in favor of the London Spitfire, which so far, it very much is. Fury nearly gets taken out of the mech, but seems like he will be able to survive. Gods has nowhere to go, will just get popped out of the mech, cleaned up. They're getting ready to cruise in, just have to get rid of that Zarya. The rest of them grabbed off over onto the side of the London Spitfire. Make it look easy here on Hollywood.
Something's gonna have to change in this series. We've already passed halftime here for the Defiant, but they are getting called out on their positioning fight after fight. And I don't know if that's something you could change between rounds.
Well, 2 minutes, 32 seconds, a time to beat. Let's see if Toronto can do it when we come back for their half.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
По готовности.
And welcome back, 2 minutes, 32 seconds. The time to beat for the Toronto Defiant as they get ready to go on their attack here on Hollywood. London Spitfire making things look easy, and a lot of it on the back of Fury, who's doing some serious work with this diva.
Watch this grab eat. Look at this.
No.
Look at that, right line gesture there. Very long range. You have a lot of time to react to the voice line there. Fury is currently, in total grabs, or rather total ults negated, 36 behind the tie, Janu and Choi Ho-Ben. If he gets more than 2 more, he'll take the lead. 2 more will tie it. He's still the highest ultimate negator diva in the league per 10 minutes. Ultimate's negated, so doing very well for himself. And just shuts down that defense once again. For the Defiant now, you know, you feel the pressure. You really do as you head to this point. It's Ana they're facing here, so they've got to be careful about the bio grenade. Look at Fury from behind.
Yeah, that boom coming in from not setting him up to really get that separation. I'm 37, and Shark just did not stand a chance. Now London just going to chase forward, look for as much poke damage as they can get.
The way that D.Va is played in this meta has changed so much. I mean, it used to be you look for shatter bomb combos, you look for grab bombs. No one really looks for that anymore. You look for the defensive bombs a lot. You look for, you know, high ground control and flanks, like Fury is doing once again, to push everyone away. That just plays
over to the side. This time it was a little bit riskier, but does manage to stay in the mech safely. Over towards the cafe. Front to Defiant, they wrap around this back side, looking for an entry point. Gonna go back over towards security. Now start inching forward here onto the point.
Look at Fury.
Nearly take it down.
Again, he's on the high ground. He's doing so much damage here. He's drawing so much aggro away, which gives freedom to the Spitfire at range here.
And they can't punish him. He still makes it back here onto the low ground safely through that staircase. Just tagged up a bit, has the Discord orb on him. But Bedosian just waiting with an nano boost. Keeps him topped up and safe. Sleep Dark connects. That's going to be Shark. Knocked to the ground. Can they get the pin? This is the question. Not even going to try for it. Big bio nade. Connects onto 3, but now Grab's going to be coming out. Transcendence used. I wish they still had that bio nade. Gesture. Get tagged up. Another one taken away. Fury is eating these over and over again. Denies that away from Ivy. Gesture still is the target of these Discord orbs, trying to push forward. Bomb coming out, Shatter gonna hit. Knocks 2 to the ground. I'm 37 heal denied as well for the bio nade. The cleanup comes through. The Shark will die again. Gesture just shield raised into the corner, trying to stay alive. Will not be able to do so. Ivy finds the kill, but that will cost him his life at the end. You can see Neko pushed off into the back lines. We might be looking at another full hold here at the hands of the London Spitfire. Still a little bit early, but they're looking very clean on the defense.
Furious smashing it. He is, you know, again, the way D.Va used to play, control high ground only, you know, look for consistent damage. Now you're looking for flanks, displacement, knocking the main tanks around. And once again, he's gonna hide, same place he's been, all defense long, right behind here. They're gonna try to punish him.
Yep, another grab ready to come in. Oh man, another massive bio grenade out from Bedosian. This means that they just don't stand a chance.
You go in there, and then you're up against Prophet's beam, 100 energy he had at that moment. There's no way you survive. All the AoE coming through from Gesture's hammer, swinging in that choke as well. And Fury has the opportunity to simply fly away. And because they're running the Ana, he's got single target burst heals to keep him alive. So much sustainability. The strategy for the Spitfire is working perfectly. I mean, basically, there's no real way for the Defiant to break this without ultimates or changing the way they're playing this. They once again get faked this time.
So much damage coming through. Gods gets pushed off over to the side. The Shatter, however, coming in from Shark's going to be absolutely huge, with the beat from Nuss is perfect to help keep them alive. The Baby D.Va going to be finished off. Pit from Gesture, unable to find anything, but now he can push forward. Has this Shatter ready to go as soon as that grab expires, but never mind. Doesn't need it. Just save it for the next fight, Gesture. The grab alone is enough to clean him up.
And the trance being used here is the worst of all. That's something they could win the longer fight with in this next push. They could use that to out-heal the Spitfire with the rally they have as well. Take that longer fight, force a fight where it's just a head-on collision where they get one kill with all that extra healing, but they don't have it anymore. And that sound barrier is a long way away. One shot here with this grab, that's all they've got.
And no support ultimates here from London Spitfire, so certainly could be another opening, but he needs this grab to stick. Fury not going to be able to find Neat this time. Drops the bomb defensively to try to zone them back, but he's going to get taken down, as does Gesture, as they drag him out of the fight with a Ryan Pan. And onto the point now, starting to tick up. Bedosian's into the back. Gets that armor back for a little bit, but it's just not enough to keep him sustained. And suddenly it looks like Toronto Defiant have finally broken through. We'll be able to get this cap here onto A.
They have done it. Very close call there. With 2:32 the time bank, their A time is less than the finishing time bank here because of the overtime grab, but they have an opportunity to turn this map around. They are going to have to do it with basically winning nearly every team fight. The ult economy does not favor them overall right now, unless A can get a fight-winning sound barrier here and they use nothing else.
Gonna be looking for it. Shark getting juggled around a little bit, as is Gesture. Shatter comes in, catches Bird Ring, answering Shatter straight into the shield again, but they help team time, it would seem, for Gesture. The cleanup kills start coming through for Toronto. Like you said, need to win every single team fight. That's one of many more to come. but they get the victory and the cart can advance.
You wouldn't think that that was going to be the ultimate that was going to win it for them very ult efficiently. You would have thought, you know, it would be the sound barrier, but he gets in there, gets the shatter. What's the surprise of the Spitfire? Gesture panics, counter shatters, doesn't find anything. 8 gets to hold his sound barrier. Neko finishes his trance. Now Prophet's grab. Not so scary anymore, especially because he's low energy for this fight. This does absolutely look like it could be a momentum shift.
Well, I would still be very scared of Prophet, and already the grab's going to be coming through. Sharks. We caught up, but Neko dives down, jumps into that with the Transcendence rolling, trying to get them all topped up now. Ivy hitting his straight on a Gesture shield. He's gonna get dragged out. They don't have the shield to block. That sets up for a double kill from Gods. Fantastic pin there from Shark. Takes Gesture out of the fight. They cannot block the Diva Bomb, and suddenly, Toronto Defiant rolling through onto B. They get that time bomb again, less than what London finished with, but they can still finish this and have a chance to close out Hollywood.
Absolutely, that's the key here, and they are making this work. Gesture gets picked. They are rolling with the momentum they have right now. They're chasing, staggering kills. This is exactly what you have to do if you're not playing to look for, you know, an okay time bait. You're not playing to look for, you know, oh, I hope we can finish with 1 minute left. You're just hoping to finish with any time at all, but you're doing it as ult efficiently as possible. Chasing kills without using ultimates in this case. Gods controls high ground now as they hang around this corner. The Spitfire, they just have to keep playing aggressively.
Bomb in the back, going aggro is Fury. Unable to find a pick up, murdering, manages to finish off A. The beat comes through to help keep the Shattered members alive. Pin coming in, Shark just barely missing Gesture. Might not have finished him off, but now he's too far forward, will get cleaned up. Spitfire, they gain control of the cart here inside the studio.
Now feels like the sand is slipping between the fingers of the Defiant. They're unable to grab onto that time bank they were looking for. The momentum has been stopped. Doshin has the trance ready for Ivy's next grab, not to mention Fury just 1 eat away from tying the record this season.
He's going to be looking for it. You know that grab's going to be online, but doesn't have the D-Matrix ready to go. Shatter out from Gesture again, not going to be able to find anything in Gesture. Or Gods rather has the bomb up into the front. Birdring pushes forward, raises his shield, blocks that out for his team. Looking for the pin there. Gesture manages to knock one, but it's going to be the Shatter coming in. Takes Prophet and Gesture down to the ground. The ladder is going to fall. Fury with a bomb over onto the side, unable to clip anyone. You know, kills start coming through. Toronto Defiant going to be back on the push. London Spitfire now really just going to have to start worrying about if they can force this into overtime. 40 seconds remaining.
Right. Defiant are doing it exactly right. They need to be basically in the spawn of the Spitfire. They're chasing them away. Getting that kill into Prophet is huge. Takes his energy away and will force him to respawn. The cart is rolling through. The Spitfire, though, they can have so much delay here if executed correctly, especially once that trance and the sound barrier come online.
Already pushing Gesture down onto the low ground. He is isolated, taken down, but Doshin just way too far behind with the Transcendence. Could not keep him up. Still comes in, another grab, gonna connect. Ivy pushes forward, 100 energy, Shatter for good measure. Shark knocks him to the ground to ensure success, but Doshin zoned out over on the back.
They can do it, they can do it.
Gonna be taken down, 4 seconds remaining. Gesture, he tags back in. Can he force the overtime? They take him down, it will go into overtime. London Spitfire barely hold out to force down the time bank. So close for the Toronto Defiant.
Oh, that is massive. They need the draw now or this series is over.
Well, let's see what happens when we come back for this last bit of Hollywood. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Finishing with no time in the bank, Toronto Defiant. The best they can hope for is going to be a draw here, which means that everything would be settled by our final map. Not out of it if London do go ahead, push forward, and get that cap onto A, which they have 2 minutes and 32 seconds to do so. But the pressure is on.
Yeah, and I did get ahead of myself earlier saying the series would end if they were unable to force the draw. That is not true. We'll have a 4th map. You and I have been casting since the Apex days. Still not used to this map where it doesn't trip me up from time to time.
It's okay. We're from NA after all, Wolf, so NA casters from time to time. Here we go, pushing forward.
Well, let's see if the Defiant can you know, hold this high ground, make sure that Fury's not able to grab Sharik and the main target here. I like holding this high ground and dropping down only at the last second. Look at Nuss though!
Oh man, right up over the top, gets that massive boom. I think Shark's so low, but they cannot finish him off. But now they displace him. Prophet makes his way onto the high ground inside the cafe. Drops back down safely though as he sees Ivy very juiced up at the moment with his Zarya. 100 energy. As I say that, first casualty will come through in the form of Godsmack. With the health bars as low as they are, London Spitfire will be suffering some losses. Nuss is able to find Shark, but I don't think that's going to be enough to translate into a cap. Bomb's still going to be committed, but a nice pick on Ivy, so maybe making me eat my words just a little bit here.
So the Shark's down, they've got line of sight with the Zenyatta. If Badoshin comes up big, this is winnable.
Yeah, they're still pushing forward, looking for this fight victory. Neko going lower and lower, has to use the Transcendence. They force that one out of him, and Prophet nearly has to grab online. He'll be able to beat his way up to that. He's taking a lot of damage. Now push around the back. 100 energy for him, looking for a target, finds Gods. Sound barrier shield makes him a bit beefier. Pushes back in, and Gods just cannot mitigate the damage. Now the back is gone. The grab will come through. Neko cannot survive. They have no support ultimates to try to sustain through this one. The answering grab comes in, but the shatter is good from Gesture. And London will clean up the Toronto Defiant, barring a 6-man ult from Gods. It doesn't happen. He doesn't get anything. They tick their way up. It's 2-1. One final map for London, and they will be able to take this series. Last legs here for the Defiant.
Great and clean plays coming out there from Badoshin, seeing his opportunity there, taking out Ivy, grab from Prophet, well executed. That's all there is.
There is Escort going to be coming up next to maybe decide the entire series.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
По готовности.
Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности.
Pass into the iris. Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности.
Pass into the iris.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hollywood now out of the way, and London Spitfire have a 2-1 lead over the Toronto Defiant. We're not done yet, though. We have at least one more map coming out. If Toronto can find success on our Escort map, Gibraltar, if memory does serve, then we could go into a Game 5 where they can try to get another victory on Control.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Toronto fans have to hope for, but it feels like the momentum has really shifted into London's favor now. I mean, even with the heroic attempt we saw for them to get in there with a time bank, London had their number. They played exactly around, forcing overtime, not trying to win the map, but knowing that with the overtime advantage they'd have, they should be able to take it. We're talking about the main tanks here. Between these two rosters, you've got a Korean legend in Gesture versus the rookie in Sharik. And he's playing with a mixed roster, so it's hard to be coordinated. It's hard to not get picked off in the front. But when you look at these two stat lines, you can see that the healing received much higher for Gesture. He's able to bait a lot more with how aggressively he's playing. And I think that's the big outlier here in terms of these two. Shark's been able to get more stuns from Earth Shatters, but he hasn't converted most of those into kills, whereas you could see Gesture with less than half the Earth Shatters gets the same amount. That's the kind of value you're looking for. Doesn't matter how many Shatter stuns you get if you can't capitalize on them. And, you know, Shark only 2 deaths higher than Gesture overall, despite the fact that he has been picked early in a lot of these fights.
I mean, a lot of those Shatters have been defensive ones while they're locked up into a Graviton Surge, so do get those hits in and no one can really get out to try to get the kills, but overall, it is an issue to see that they're unable to capitalize, but maybe because of the stat comparison here, you know, how he's playing against Gesture, we're going to be seeing him subbed out and Yakpung going to be coming back in.
Yeah, Yakpung, it's been a little while. We haven't seen him since Stage 2, so very heavily criticized Korean main tank player for his aggressive play and his, you know, low success rate with Shatters. And as we head into Gibraltar,
That's right.
This is a gamble that the Defiant are taking. They're bringing in their old main tank, perhaps for his Korean proficiency. You know, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but Youngpuk has gotten a lot of flack throughout this entire season for being over-aggressive, getting picked, dying early. And what does that sound like? It really reminds me of kind of a lot of what we were talking about Shark. So it may be that, you know, more than just the stats can show, the tank line is not being supported properly, whether it's a Korean tank or a Western tank, a rookie player in Shark. Can't really fully call Yakpung a rookie because he's had a ton of offline experience in his career, finals and all that. But, you know, I gotta say, these two main tanks have similar problems. It's not just on their own, it's on the support line as well. And I think the Spitfire's playstyle could stay the same here, kill the Rhine first, and that's been working out so well for them throughout this series.
I'm showing us something interesting here at the start. Fury on the Hawk, just looking for that initial hook. We'll just go ahead and swap it back out. I mean, Bird Ring on a wrist, and that was pretty much a dead giveaway. We probably weren't going to see them stick through with that.
Yeah, they're just trying to grab Gods if possible, prevent him from boosting away with the May Wall. Cool idea, but, you know, it's so common now that Defiant didn't play that aggressive, didn't get caught.
Oh, here we go. Cart slowly pushing down the ramp into this little underpass. Over into the side room. Danger looms, but so far, Toronto able to find that first pick as Prophet will be taken down. And Gesture, HP are not looking too solid, but neither is Nekos as he will be eliminated by Fury coming in from behind with those rockets. Counting him down. Aid now also going to fall. No supports here for Toronto Defiant. Charge coming up from Yakpung. Will be able to take down Mendoza. Turns around. He gets a shatter.
Welcome back.
Oh, man. Welcome back indeed. Might have just single-handedly turned that one around, and he has.
Well, he has certainly silenced the critics, at least for the moment here. As he comes back in, Toronto fans everywhere were probably concerned about how much of an impact he would make over Shark, but suddenly the man is back and hits the big shatter.
The 180!
Completely have to regroup here. And Prophet, almost no ult charge here for Saibi having the full grab available. They can use this to hold this choke right now.
Well, an incredible play from Yakpung, but an early kill here.
There it is.
On I'm37, the grab does come through. They push forward. This is going to be taken down. Bomb out from Gods, unable to find any kills, but will make it back into the back safely alongside the help of Aid with the sound barrier.
Another shatter
comes in. He knocks 3 to the ground. Fury's taking a nap. The extended team kill comes through, and Toronto Defiant holds strong.
Huge smile on Neko's face in that moment as well, knowing that this was just the ultimate way to hold Spitfire in this lower dip of the map. You have the ability to grab and then chase the retreating members as they're trying to regroup. Finally, the coordination starts to feel like old Toronto in a lot of ways. And as we head into this now, you know, Spitfire, they're going to have to make this grab valuable. There's no transcendence. That's how they're going to get A here, is off of this grab. He cannot be picked, and he needs that energy.
Yep. God's going to get tagged up here from that high ground. Really good restraint being shown here from Toronto Defiant. They all peel back. They know that they don't have any ultimates at the moment. So have to show respect to London, give up a little bit of ground, and then try to contest the card
They
again.
don't want to give any energy to Prophet either, because they know this is their, you know, most terrifying moment is this grab.
Does come through, Ivy. Solo ulted, Birdring able to find the kill. Not the Defiant Seal going to be looking to come up with a victory in the fight. Fury sleeping for now. Neko able to nail him with that sleep dart. Just getting the bubbles, trying to stay alive. Yakpung falling lower and lower. The fire strike will finally finish him off as London looks to advance through on to A. They will be able to do Just shy of a minute on the clock there. Now going to get bumped up to 3:25.
It's not terrible for Defiant. You know, they did buy a lot of time there. They do walk away with almost all of their ultimates. Neko obviously swapping back over to the Zenyatta. Gakun gets staggered, using out split spawn.
Yep.
But for the Spitfire, the biggest win is that you only used a grab, and you've got another one ready because of the way that fight went, how long it went. Prophet at high energy was able to build 70% further. For the Defiant now, you know, taking this high ground away is not going to be easy. In fact, nigh impossible because they got staggered so much and the split spawn on Yak when they couldn't contest this. It's all on Gods right now, really, to take this back. And I don't think he can do it, not alone.
Drop down through Gesture again. Shatter going to be blocked. Sound barrier comes out from 8. They insert themselves in behind the cart. Still swinging away, unable to find any kills so far. Prophet pushes forward. Grabs are going to be out from either side, as are those self-destructs, but Fury going to be taken down, so Gods comes up with a kill in the fight, and you can already see just how many ultimates have been used. And with Shatter from Yapung, he does it again! 5 members, everybody on the London Spitfire knocked to the ground. The kills come through!
And not to mention, in the previous fight, Gesture dropped behind the entire team on a 180 turn to block Gesture's high ground drop down Shatter. Incredible reaction time from this player. He's got an anti-Shatter block there, and then he turns his way around to a big Shatter, his second massive one of the game, 3rd overall. And now they've got the high ground back, and that is exactly what you want as the defenders on Gibraltar in this meta, especially Sombreless. This is exactly where you want to hold.
They have to respond soon here. And Fury was just steadily pushing that cart up and around that final corner. Full drop down here for both teams. Just trying to get that Shatter online. I mean, already Yakpung, I think he's got more knockdowns and kills from Earth Shatters than Jester has in the entire series.
Earth Shatter kills this map alone.
Yeah.
10.
Solid
or
stuff.
The double of all that Shark was able to accomplish before.
Fire strike through. Yakpung just trying to get that next one online. Still quite far away, so London Spitfire can probably breathe a little bit more easily here. Will be grab for grab coming online very shortly, with both Zenyatas holding on to Transcendences. Down under a minute, grab comes out, Gesture. Stunned up, falling low as is Nuss, but the focus fire just not enough to get a kill here. Trent's gonna be expiring. God's dropping the bomb in front as the grab comes out from Prophet, just trying to zone them back. God's still gonna be taken down by Medoza, denying the remake with Baby Diva. Shatter gonna get dropped, finds Gesture alone. That's not gonna be enough here. You would expect the Toronto Defiant. Jakpung gets juggled into the back, going lower and lower, and finally taken down by Prophet. Cart holding here for the moment, but 8 will get taken down. They will continue to advance. But down to the wire on the time bank again here for London Spitfire. But a second lease on life, 1 minute and 50 on the clock.
Yakpung doesn't hit the big Shatter that time. The biggest issue is that the card is rolling for free now because they heavily committed to that defense and to the delay. So Prophet leaves his energy back off to high. They have, you know, caught up mostly to Ivy in terms of Graviton Surge Charge. There's not much you can do to hold this zone itself without ultimates. They're going to kind of have to let London roll through. At least Ivy's trying to get the last part of the grab. Greedy, but it does work out. He's got it.
Bomb thrown into the back, trying to maybe set up for a Shatter here, but the grab comes out from Ivy instead. Sound barrier in response as well as the Transcendence going to be stacked on top of each other, but 8 still going to be taken down. Toronto Defiant still suffering members as London Spitfire continue to aggress. Grab now coming in. Transcendence is out from Neko, but Ivy still going to be focus fire, still going to be eliminated as is God. Smack. Both Ryans hit the ground, but only Gesture is standing back up as they continue to push. London Spitfire, 5 seconds, still holding on to 3 ults.
I mean, that grab from Ivy, he built it, but he wasted it. He threw it in haphazard. There was no way to follow up. It's another tool they don't have here. And this looks like the beginning of the end of this attack.
Bubble out onto 8, but instantly gets melted down. Godsmack, same story for that. They boop Yakpung up into the air. They nail the Shatter. Gesture. And that's that on the board. Just a little bit more here. Neko will swap over onto the Wrecking Ball. But the kill's just gonna get cleaned up here. Grab for good measure in case anyone tries to make it back. London Spitfire will be able to finish Gibraltar with time in the bank.
Still winnable for the Defiant.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is, and their strength certainly showed on point A, playing around Gesture, using Yakpung's unique angles for Shatters and his completely different playstyle from Sharik. you know, getting in there, getting those stuns. Wind Gesture is looking to also hit his, getting the counter shatters several times. But the big difference here and the big challenge for the Toronto Defiant will be making that same success happen as the attacking team, where you don't have setup advantage, you don't have high ground advantage, and you won't be able to play around Ade's defensive Lucio playstyle in the low ground as you approach the same way you can as you're standing on defense. If they can repeat that performance, if Yakpung can come in and hit those big shatters, there's a world where they get the, you know, the time bank needed to make this a winnable map. I mean, it still is, but I mean, a real winnable map. I mean, you're talking 1 minute plus is absolutely possible if they can have that same kind of performance. Easier said than done, as the Spitfire will take the stage with the same composition. No Ana.
No Sombra. Just gonna be the 3-3, sticking to it through and through. 25 seconds, time to beat Toronto. I mean, if Yakpung can have a continued performance like we've already seen from him, you know, this is highly winnable. It's been a fantastic return to the stage for him so far. Seems like it's just been spending time in the hyperbolic time chamber the entire time.
Yeah, sometimes when your spot gets taken away, you've got to fight for it.
Yeah.
You've got to prove yourself. You've got to train in that hyperbolic time chamber. We're seeing that right now.
Neko, again, just another Roadhog looking for a hook there at the beginning. Find anything, so swaps back over onto the Zenyatta. Drop down coming through very aggressively here from Spitfire. I think he's that bubble just in time to keep himself alive, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Not very is clearly the answer, as Bedosin will be able to scoop the kill. Follows up with a double, and Gods, can he make it back with the mech intact? Nope.
Incredible lead here for the Spitfire already. Already Bedosin basically out of Transcendence. He's currently 26 seconds ahead, so almost a full 30 ahead in terms of ult charge build time. 1 minute to 126 for Neko. Means that Ivy, who doesn't have a grab, is super behind in that matchup. And they may even be able to trance, because they can identify this. They may be able to trance before the grab is ready to build a second Transcendence if this continues, and this is just a disaster for the Defiant. Yakpung's built the same amount of ult charge, but he can't get into position to use it again on the attack. It's much more difficult to have those money shatters defensively.
After sitting on the bottom of the ramp, and this is such a high pressure area for them to try to push through, taking damage from all sides, so have to wrap around, gain control of that high ground, then drop down to the card. Need to make sure that everybody is synced in order to do it simultaneously.
He's trying to find an angle here where they can drop down then react. And Spitfire just not going to approach. They're going to play defensively because they can as the defending team here. They're going to fall into the trap. Just going to play passive. Look at how far back they are. Look, here's the drop down from Yakpung. The Spitfire will not fall into it.
Yep, rally comes out from Birdering. I'm 37, getting ready to have his online. Grab comes through, catches the members of the Defiant, and Ivy just disappears right at the start, so further delaying that Graviton surge here for the Toronto Defiant.
And the trance is mistimed from Neko. Another tool gone. Bedosin, he built his trance so quickly, and still doesn't need to use it. And the Spitfire will just rise back up to the high ground. Back off, played passively.
There's getting a lot of damage as his Yakpung, so the rally has to come out. Big split coming through. Bedosin actually going to be using the Transcendence here now to try to win this fight and rely on the sound barrier from Ness to try to survive the grab. Shadow comes out as they turn the corner. Gesture knocks him to the ground. Fury with the bomb manages to take down Neko. London still could very well win out this fight. Yakpung can hit another absolutely massive Earth Shatter.
And it's an incredible usage of the Shatter, negating that Graviton Surge in a lot of ways. You don't really think of the counter to a grab as a Shatter, but in this case, it really prevented that follow-up damage. So Spitfire just being extremely ult efficient. This is their weakest point, right, where they don't have support ultimates, they don't have a Shatter, but Ivy missed his grab. It's not there when he needs it most right now.
Down on the Fury, take him down to about half. Instantly, the heals start pouring in from London. They know how essential he is. Have to ensure that he can stay in this fight. Card continues to inch forward with 38 seconds left on the clock. Toronto Defiant, Transcendence nearly online. Yakpung down to half HP. Power pack already on cooldown. Rally getting ready to come through. Yakpuk is going to be waiting for the shatter. Transcendence is out from Neko. Well timed to keep everybody topped up, and now it's going to be rallies from either side as the fight comes through. The shatter straight into Jester's shield this time, though. Yakpuk unable to find any targets. Transcendence out from Bedosian as they push forward. Ivy 12% away, nearly. Has that Graviton Surge online, but needs it to land, and they need to get that follow-up kill in order to try to take this one away. Fury, he denies it again! How many times in this series alone can he do it? Takes that one out.
It's not enough,
Despite
though.
that, the cart will still roll through. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think Fury just tied the record or exceeded it with that Gravi. So still a huge moment for him individually, but also for Toronto pushing into A, keeping their hopes alive.
Even though they get through here despite Fury's record-tying grab, this is, well, actually just got the confirmation he broke it now, so he is in the lead 39. So even though he now takes the record in terms of ultimates negated this season, the Toronto Defiant win the point. But the time bank isn't stellar. It needs to be better. We need to see them use this high ground to win another fight here, and they're going to drop down behind.
Straight in onto the cart. Bob's going to be coming out from Fury as the beat drops. Ivy trying to stay alive. Gets a little bit of support here from his team. So low, and the HP bar doesn't have a self bubble for quite some time. Transcendence forced out from Bedosian. The shatter drops. Catches two, murdering it. Neither going to be eliminated. Answering grabs out from either side. Just everybody an amalgamation on this corner, but Yakpuk comes up with the first two kills. Toronto Defiant. They go ahead, they fill up that kill feed, and now can start getting the cart rolling again. And an 18.
I mean,
winnable.
Ivy not known for really intelligent grab usage, but that was a risk he was willing to take. He sees the grab come through from Prophet. He knows Prophet was stunned in the previous fight, so he knows he has more energy, so he trades the grab. He does more damage in that fight. He wins it from that. Really smart usage there. Quick thinking.
Starts up from either side, another shatter already there for Yakpuk. Now no shield to block it, but no Rhine to drop the hammer because Bedosian trades it back and gets rid of him. Self-destruct that from God's unable to find anything. Both support's going to be melted down. And this is the moment for Toronto Defiant where you just call the retreat, say either get out or let them kill you because we have to reset. We've got one more opportunity to move that cart just 3 meters.
Now, you know, when you're looking at time bank here, it feels really tough for the Defiant to beat the time. We can finish the map, absolutely, and you can have a solid defense again. It's certainly winnable. Remember, A was their strongest point. For this next fight, they need to build the grab. So in order for that to happen, Rally will have to be used as the initiation. Knows Fury's behind, threatening. He's going to leave, he doesn't want to get caught. Rally will be how they open this up, and then the grab is going to have to be massive. But Ocean doesn't have trance. This is a winnable fight for the Defiant. Absolutely, as long as no one gets picked, they should be able to do this.
As long as that grab doesn't get eaten, Yakpuk getting juggled around, going lower and lower. Cesario Bubble starts pushing forward. Waiting for an opportunity to use that Earth Shatter. Goes in for the pin. Jester gonna get caught. One final hammer swing takes him away. Fury finds another one. Fury just stretching that lead as much as he can, but the fight still looks good for Toronto Defiant. Maybe it's a curse. He benefits from it personally for his statistics, but his team suffers a loss in the fight.
Yakpung pulls Jester out of the fight, kills him, and then that's how you know. And now he's split spawned as well. Massive. He's gonna have to jump off. But he pulls Gesture away. Then it's the follow-up shatter. The grab being eaten becomes irrelevant because Yakpung makes 2 major plays that push them into a victory opportunity here. Remember, even with a better timing for the Spitfire, if they finish this, their A defense is good enough, they absolutely can win it because we saw how good it was just before.
Prophet.
But now they're down on ultimates.
Prophet being sneaky. Comes around the
Behind.
back. The grab comes in. Neko instantly melted. Bumper-esque moves there from Prophet. Slips around the back. They did not see it coming. Gods, he's just jumping off the side. Full reset here with his team.
Defiant now have to figure out how they can win this fight with a shatter. They've done it so many times. Look at this setup here.
A little less sneaky from Gesture. He's not about the subtleties here.
This is just buying time.
Yeah, he just wants to play up into their faces.
Fury
coming to Fury around the back.
Same
Look at
damage.
the health bars melting down. Neko instantly crumbles. Now Ivy cleaned up. London Spitfire. They don't want to go to overtime rounds here on Gibraltar. They just want to close this out. There's so many ults coming up for the Toronto Defiant, but Spitfire might not give it an opportunity.
If they don't get to use them on the cart, it might not matter. Or they're gonna have to take a different approach here. They're spotted.
And now they're further away from the cart, which they have to tag.
They have
5
to touch.
seconds
5:37
remaining.
rallies to touch.
5:37. sprinting forward, trying to make his way there. They managed to tag the card, the bomb to buy a little bit more space, forces London back around the final corner of the map.
So many ultimates wasted there to touch the cart, but they do touch it. It's gonna have to be about this grab now. Fedosian's got the trance. Thus has the sound barrier ready. There it goes.
Comes in, this time not eaten. Maybe an ill omen for Toronto. We're gonna find out. Shield raise, Yakpung stays safe. Transcends now out from Neko. Prophet holds on to another grab, and this early usage could cost them, because now it comes in. Shatterer is down, catches no one, and London Spitfire will win the fight. They will take the series. 3-1 in the end. Toronto looking better, but unable to get those crucial map wins on the board to try to get some more maps for that differential. London just take it at the end.
3-1, not the scoreline they wanted. Well, this is certainly a big win for the Spitfire. Having a tough start on Ilios and then solidifying their advantages. I mean, really picking apart the tank line for those last two maps. I think everyone will have to wonder now is whether or not Yakpung or Shark is better for the Defiant roster, because we certainly saw a lot more success with Yakpung there in the end, setting up those shatters, playing a little bit more passively, not getting caught. And you know, it's something we haven't really thought about Yakpung all season long, because he has been underperforming, but you know, with that great Gibraltar play, people will ask questions, they will wonder. But for the Spitfire, this is just one more win on the board. They are one step closer to trying to get to that grand finals.
They are. Crucial victory, crucial bounce back after that loss to NYXL. But guys, we've got Danny Lim down on the floor with none other than Gesture.
Thanks guys so much. What is up everybody? I am here joined by Gesture from London Spitfire. Gesture, why'd you stop dancing? Gesture was dancing. 춤 좀 계속 춰주세요. 춤 춰주세요. Alrighty. I have two questions. I gotta ask this question. So, you guys are actually coming out from a tough loss against the NYXL, but you guys got the win today. How does it make you feel to get this win against Toronto Defiant? 저번 주에 어떻게 보면 좀 되게 힘든 경기가 되었죠. 그 뉴욕과의 경기에서 이번에는 승리를 하게 되셨는데 소감 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
일단 저희가 뉴욕 경기에서 패배한 뒤로 다시 이제 이긴 첫 경기인데. 제 컨디션이 좀 안 좋았던 거 치고 아무튼 팀원들이 잘해줘서 이겨서 뭐 기쁘네요.
So it is true that we're coming off from a tough loss against NYXL, but today we got the win. I really want to thank my teammates for doing a really good job. I wasn't feeling too well, but they actually really did a good job of covering me, so that's how we got the win. Alrighty, next week you guys actually have a rematch against NYXL coming Friday. How are you going to turn things around this time? 다음 주 금요일 날 뉴욕과의 재경기가 있습니다. 이번에는 승리를 위해서 좀 어떻게 하실 생각이신가요?
저희가 뉴욕전에 너무 무기력하게 졌는데 이번에 돌아오는 뉴욕전은 절대 그렇게 게임이 안 될 거고 이길 수 있도록 많이 노력하겠습니다.
We did get swept by NYXL the last match that we played against them, but this time around we will make sure that won't happen, and we're going to practice hard, so be on the lookout. Thank you so much, Gesture. Back to you guys, casters.
Thank you very much, Danny. Always a pleasure to hear from Gesture. Very vibrant personality that guy has.
In and outside the game, he certainly is.
Yeah, I mean,
super fun guy.
A super kind-hearted, great player, but you know, knows that there are some mistakes made today, some mistakes made versus NYXL, but they're going to clean that up. But guys, let's see who our player of the match is, presented by Omen by HP. And, I mean, it's really none other than Fury. It's hard to make a case against him, honestly.
I mean, not only did he negate a ton of Graviton surges in this game, but his positioning cut everybody apart, especially on Hollywood. But he was able to threaten high grounds on Gibraltar. Bombs coming through, punishing a lot of what Defiant was doing. And I mean, overall, if you had to pick one player on the Spitfire, I think Fury had the most consistent performance across. And now if you look at his stats here, 5 ultimates negated, that ties Janu's record for a single map, but that's number 2 to his own, which is 6.
Yeah.
It wasn't able to tie. So this isn't even his final form, but we know that he is capable of so much when he has that ability. Some of the fights he took it away to, they ended up losing, but you could see he's always ready, losing fight or winning fight.
And like I said, kind of became a little bit of a curse whenever he was denying those ults away. Weren't able to win the fights, but I mean, still a fantastic performance from him and you know the London Spitfire overall, cleaning things up. Toronto Defiant kind of bumping up their performance compared to what we saw from them versus Paris. So still looking forward to seeing how these guys develop over the time. They're going to have plenty of good matches on stage. They have some tough opponents, but we're not done yet, guys. We still have more matches coming up. We got Boston Uprising going up against the Houston Outlaws, the team that just took down the San Francisco Shock. So you make sure you stay tuned is what I'm saying. Stay tuned. We'll see you guys in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.
Into the iris. Pass into the iris.
Огонь по готовности!
There we have it, the Boston flags are waving. We've got the fans in the studio today, live from Los Angeles, as I nearly choke on my cough drop. Welcome everybody to the Blizzard Arena.
A lot of Boston fans out there. I think it's Boston Day. They're giving away a bunch of stuff. Luckily, they gave away a pair of sunglasses because I lose sunglasses. I like someone who loses something a lot. I don't know. I don't know what going that analogy.
You get the sunglasses from the supermarket. You know, they're just like $3.
Yes.
You don't care. You just
I
go
buy them.
some
I buy them in 5-packs. Honestly, it's how often I lose sunglasses.
So one of those guys. All right, let's take a look at the standings here. We've seen this a few times today, but now it's a fresh match, Hex, and we got some fresh teams that are going to be getting to the stage. I think you guys picked up on the clue that Boston are going to be playing.
Yes.
So that's good. They're in the 12th spot right now. Who's going to be their opponents, Hex?
all the way down there at 18, but do they feel like the 18 team right now? The Houston Outlaws. I mean, after giving New York all they could handle and giving their fans hope, they actually came through and beat arguably the best team in the league in San Francisco Shock.
The team that actually beat the Titans. You know, you see the Titans, they still got that goose egg in the loss column there, but stage 2 playoffs, they don't really count in those standings. Shock took them down.
Yeah.
So, yes, you could say the best team.
Yes. And if you're Houston, you need to ride the momentum of your most recent victory.
And, well, we actually have a few reactions here from the players themselves who could hardly believe it, and who could blame them?
This is the Outlaws' day. The Houston Outlaws defeat the San Francisco Shock.
I don't know, I'm pretty sure he's still shaking.
Yeah, I'm a little excited.
They get their first Map 5 win of the season, and they do it against the best team in the league.
We were the worst team last stage, like by far. And we took this month break as like a real time to like focus on what we did wrong. We were never gonna give up because like if you're in the Overwatch League, you just can't give up. If you're a competitor, you can't give up.
It was definitely Dante's EMP Inferno today, and he gets some revenge on a team that dealt him over to the Outlaws.
It's like super satisfying to beat my whole team. Like I love them all. I'm like such good friends with them. It's just crazy that we actually beat them, the best team in the league.
The Houston Outlaws have finally found what it takes to take down top teams.
And a lot of people don't think that we could have done it. A lot of people don't think that we'll ever be good again. They want people to scrap the team and stuff like that, but like you don't understand our team's mentality. We literally just won't give up. This is just such a great feeling, seriously.
So let's take a look at the schedule here for the Houston Outlaws. You're absolutely right, Raucus. You can't give up. If you're a competitor, you're always going for the win. If not, get out of the stage. Get out of here. We don't need you.
Also, look at this schedule. Is Houston going to make stage playoffs? Because this is a winnable schedule. I believe it's the easiest strength of schedule left in the league. Yes. They took New York to 5, and I thought maybe it was a fluke. Then they beat Shock, so that's already the hard part of your schedule. Boston, Paris, Mayhem, Justice, Defiant. I see some W's in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, Mayhem schedule right now, they're still struggling. Eternal, we got to cast them earlier, Hex. They're still definitely looking a little shaky. So, I mean, we'll see. Houston could be looking up for them, definitely. But let's go ahead and get our first team out onto the stage. It's going to be the Boston Uprising. They remember to bring their flags too, Hex.
Yeah, it's Flag Day, apparently. One of my favorite holidays.
Flag Day.
I want to see what roster they're running. Okay, Calyx in the rear. They've been experimenting with different support lines lately. So Alamo played not too long ago. Alamo and Persia played together. Then they mixed it back up, and Alamo played with Aim God. And I don't believe Aim God is in the lineup either. So it's a really interesting look here from Boston. Persia and Calyx is going to be the support duo that they're running out here today. And let's see how it works out for him. I guess he tries something. There's been lackluster results for Boston as of late.
Yeah, I'm curious what the coaching staff have in mind here. It does really feel like they're going for the mix and match approach. Team that things are looking up for now, their opponents, we're going to get them out on the stage now, the Houston Uprising. Houston Outlaws. I was looking at their jerseys. You know how it's like you're looking at something and then all of a sudden you're saying something different? Oh my goodness.
Rain also doesn't work a great deal of the time. Dante will lead them out of the tunnel. His Sombra play was a key to their most recent victory. It's good to see him kind of smiling again, but not too happy. You know, you still have to beat the teams you should beat. And I think that it's a winnable match for Boston. You can't lose focus over the fact that you're finally playing a little bit better, but they do have confidence.
Do they continue to ride that though? I mean, you got a few grins, but they're kind of looking a little hesitant, making their way to the stage. Now people are actually expecting something from them.
I was going to say, now there are actual expectations.
Exactly. So you got to live up to them. You've just taken down the top dog in the league. You can't be going down to a team like Boston, who are still trying to figure out their back line. But here are the starting 6 for the Houston Outlaws. Dante. I mean, it's his time to shine. Sombra, Dante, come on, they go hand in hand.
It's a great Sombra meta. Linkser has been in it as well. They ran, I think, some Widow on Numbani last time we saw him. Linkser was able to click some heads. The good old Linkser Dinkser back into the mix, and I think this is probably, right now, their best lineup to run out here. And we'll see if they can continue it. I think that if you're Houston, you now expect to beat a team like Boston. Fusion's going to be one standing in their way, though.
Oh, he always is, right? Ever since he made his debut here for Boston Uprising, just hit the stage by storm, took it by storm. started rolling over everybody. Now, as far as the standings are concerned, it's definitely with the Rhine that he was doing work.
Yeah.
Winston leaves something to be desired.
I believe it was on Paris where we saw him playing a defensive Winston, and he was just getting knocked around, didn't look as comfortable on that hero, would go in, get bubbled, not as aggressive, get moved back. I mean, Winston is more of an art than a science, and Fusions has yet to find his artistic stride, so to speak.
He certainly does know how to bring leadership to the table, though. So if anything, the stats not looking too hot. He, in terms of leadership, has made the difference for Boston Uprising. Now we're taking a look at the maps presented to you by Toyota, and it is going to be Nepal to kick things off. The BBE right there, bold as brass on the screen.
Does that stand for Big Bronze Elephant?
Yep. You can say brass or bronze, whichever. They're interchangeable.
Nah, brass is like Brass Monkey, that funky monkey.
That funky monkey.
There you go. All right, we're going to kick it off on Sanctum here. And I want to see if Houston starts running some interesting strats. That's kind of been the bugaboo. The talking point with Houston is that when they run DPS-oriented strats, or at least not perfect 3-3, they tend to win a little bit more. And yeah, they're going to roll out a little bit of a Hammond. I also thought we could see a Muma Orisa here, and maybe even a Roadhog. Rock is a very good Roadhog. Jake can play it as well. So he's on the flank. He's got Zen.
He'll get there eventually, guys. Not the smoothest roll through, but, you know, survives. I guess that's the important bit.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go for a grapple to displace them on the bridge. I mean, that's why you're running this Wrecking Ball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It does a lot of the same things as a Winston will with Primal Rage, and that's where the battle is going to take place on the bridge here. This team's doing a little disjointed, though.
Seems like it's a bit more difficult for Linkster to get the energy rolling, though, with bubbles. And he gets that damage cranked, and there it is. Up to 100 now. Did somebody just... Boink just knocked Blase off the side. Perfect start here for the Houston Outlaws. RCK gets C-Mech as well. That's exactly what they were hoping for.
Boink with the boop. Winsy the fight right away. Very good play there. Now let's check out the ultimates here as Luma's going to get the cleanup there. Very nice to be able to do that. And if this fight continues to take place on the bridge, I'd imagine a minefield is going to look really good on that bridge.
It's going to be so tough to make your way through there. Boston, they shouldn't be getting too frustrated yet. Only 20% on the board for Houston Outlaws with first control. But Boston, they've got their ults coming online as well. They're playing standard is going to be 3-3, so they know what they're capable of. No reason to get flummoxed just yet. Fusion's on the Winston, but still, this is more of an offensive Winston, and now they're going to go ahead and take the fight to him. Houston Outlaws straight into the mix. Jake giving them the rally, but then that forces the trance out of Persia. Going to be a big opening here for Linkster to ruin Boston's day.
Now rally the Transforms out, and now you have to imagine the Graviton is the next thing to throw in.
Bubble is going to get melted immediately. Not as fast as it could be, though, because Houston Outlaws now are going to be the ones going tit for tat. Self-destruct thrown in by Dante, but it is going to be the sound barrier used by Boink, and they are going back and forth now. Houston Outlaws look like they could be on the losing side of things. Oh no, Fusions.
More of an art than a science. You kind of have to know that timing by heart. He wanted to get the second jump in, didn't come off a cooldown. And meanwhile, while this was all occurring, Houston has been in control of the point. A lot of ultimates used on both sides. A rally will be the next thing up for nearly both teams, but Muma's going to try to look to lock them out with a minefield.
Oh, that's a toughie. That's a real tough pill to swallow. Muma's got to be careful. Does get stunned, but will survive, and now he's got the minefield, can drop that wherever he wants. Right through the back, and on top of it, there you go. Rain and mines. Persia going to go down immediately. This is going to be so difficult for Boston Uprising to make their way through. It is not going to happen. Persia sent back to spawn, Blase as well. And Houston Outlaws, they should be picking up the first. You've only got the tanks left to contest.
Seems like it's all over just about now. RCK can't even get back there. And Houston continue to impress.
Looking clean, Hex. Looking very clean indeed. 11 kills for Houston, 1 for Boston. If Houston maintain this level, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Jake, get it together. You're not supposed to die in Brick.
Come on, man. Seriously, you got your own personal shield. Oh, personal shield, you can't even blame it on your Rhine.
The only death. But I do like that they just ran Wrecking Ball there. You know, just throw a curveball at him, quite literally.
Hey. Yeah, I mean, he figured it out after a while there. It looked a little shaky at first.
You're right.
But it's true, you know, you mentioned the Orisa. I was kind of hoping to see that because Muma is so dangerous with the Hults into Oblivion. But let's see, this is going to be the second point now. Moving into it, Boston Uprising.
All right.
Okay then, we got a little bit of a change on their side.
Boston gonna run a DPS composition here. Blaze's Doomfist is the thing of legend.
We get some Pharah, that can be fun. Barrage combos, because Persia's running the Ana. So
Alright!
boost, and yep, now we're gonna have wholesale changes coming through here on the side of the Houston Outlaws as well.
Pharah,
Perfect.
Tracer.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's get the dogfight in the sky. That is a great opening kill.
How does that happen? Kelix out of it. No longer having the Mercy, you're lacking the healing throughput. Color Hex is gonna have to play careful now, and Muma gets overwhelmed by Color Hex, but this is opening the door here for Linkser to start doing some serious damage. Rockets are in, there's one, Blase sure to follow. Yep, there's the follow-up. Linkser is just gonna be going right through him now. First control for Houston Outlaws, and everything looking dandy.
Yeah, Doomfist, when his abilities are on cooldown, not a great hero. Just got the knuckle guns out there. So Lynx are able to exploit that small window. Right now, Houston looking pretty good. They're gonna have EMP up momentarily. And now Blase is gonna get off of the Doomfist, but I think it's the right call here. He's gonna go onto a Tracer of his own. It's been a while since we've seen some good Tracer retreat.
Seriously, right? Tracer beats Tracer. Loving it. Lynx are already just being a thorn. Boink eats a rocket, no fun there. We'll get topped right back up again though, no worries. And Dante's now got the EMP online. So, point blank, oh, back to back. Not gonna be getting the res either. That's gonna shut him down.
Oh, feels good. You gotta hit those two back-to-back when they have a Mercy in the pocket, otherwise the healing is just too strong. Jake takes the aggressive stance in the sky, knocks him down, and now Boston has to play into an EMP, 60% and charging on the point as well for Houston Outlaws.
Color Hex just got the Barrage online though, so let's see. That's scary, but
it's got hacks.
Jake is gonna survive. Raucus is out of it. A follow-up. Could he get a third? That would have been stepping it up. He said it's going to be the rest of his team dying here for Jake. Jake gonna follow suit. The Houston Outlaws gonna get sent back to spawn, so it will not be a perfect control run here for the Houston Outlaws. Boston Uprising are gonna get their say.
Let's see what Boink does. Let's see if they stay this, because that was an interesting Valk towards the end. It's not the highest impact of ultimates, but it did happen after the fight appeared to be already lost. Well, Boink is gonna stay on it. Jake takes a long range rocket. Now we got a nano on the field.
Oh, perfect stick from Blase. That's clean. Kelix and Persia down though for the Boston Uprising. That's their backline dead. It looks like this is going to be a full-on slugfest here on the point. Dante going toe-to-toe with RCK. Going to get some help from Linkser as well.
It's just ball though. It's just ball on the point. They can fight this.
Oh, totally. Linkser, right now he's just wrecking. Going to get the flip right here. Houston Outlaws looking solid. And this is going to be the flip. Now it's on Boston Uprising with just a couple of volts to play with.
These Pharas are hitting some sick directs right now. Still though, one fight away for Houston at 95 and counting up.
Oh. The sleep, and now it's on cooldown. Jake will get brought back up again. Still hold on to the barrage, but Color Hex connects with the direct. 40% and counting for Boston Uprising. Color Hex gonna throw the barrage in there for good measure. That's Raucus going down. Boink follows, and this is the Houston Outlaws now battling back from behind.
Nice barrage kill there, because you know you're gonna die anyway. Might as well take out a valuable target with you. Well played, and now, counting up is Boston. Again, Houston is one fight away, but they're also kind of far away from EMP, which is usually your win button. RCK, meanwhile, has been somewhat quiet, but he's getting up to EMP himself.
Oh, there's the hack. Did they get it? Color Hex, man, he's hanging on by a thread. Persia are gonna go down, Color Hex as well. Jake having a field day right now. 2 big kills for him. Fusion's trying to turn it around on his side of things. Muma gonna go ahead and stop someone as well. Dante could go down. Muma looking for the body block. 98%. It's all on RCK now. He's got to make the magic happen. EMP is in, but Muma's gonna club him. And this is going to be the Houston Outlaws picking up the win 2-0 on Nepal to kick off the series.
In a meta reminiscent of Overwatch League 2018, these teams slug it out on DPS. And we are in for a good one, but Houston continue their momentum. After beating the San Francisco Shock, we have map 2 right after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
готовности. Heroes sterben nicht. Justice reigns from above. Damn it. Helden sterben nicht.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. The Guangzhou Charge were coming up against the Chengdu Hunters in Game 1 of their set when Rio hit around the corner waiting for the right opportunity to ult. As soon as Hotba threw in Diva's mech, Rio charged in and set up the triple kill.
Back into it with the Houston Outlaws, who are carrying on from their performance yesterday when they took down the Shock, the top team in the league. Houston Outlaws, well, they've hit the ground running, Hex. They're up in the lead 1-0.
Yeah, we looked at their schedule earlier for the rest of this stage, and it's the easiest strength of schedule mathematically for the Overwatch League. And they're at 4-12. And with as bad as Houston has been,
yes,
they're still only like 4 games behind getting into the play-in for the season. I mean, there's teams that are sitting at 12 and 13 or 7-win teams. You run this gambit, you go through stage 3 pretty well. And yeah, might see a whole different talk about the Houston Outlaws. So much turmoil around this team for the last couple of stages.
Yeah, you're in the running. That's what counts. That's what matters. But Flame won't shut up about weight getting lifted off of his shoulders. So, you know, maybe that's having an impact as well. Congrats to them. Now into the thick of things here on Volskaya. Assault map, second map of this series, and Boston Uprising looking to try and change up the game. Or will they stick to it once they see what they're up against?
I mean, you never really know early on for scouting, but how deep this far is, it does seem like Boston wants to run a damage composition here.
All right, now it's time to tango. Because this is gonna get fun.
Oh!
Turns out, no, you're not allowed to have fun when Rockus is on point. The headshots on Blase to kick things off. Volley in as well. Nearly clips Color Hex. Buddy.
Rockus has been playing some of his better Overwatch over the last several matches for this team. Got his confidence back. Seems like a much happier person right now.
He's clearly starting to figure it out.
I think he has it figured out for Sombra. That Sombra match we watched him play in where he transcended post every EMP was insanity. Now if you can start adding in the damage here, it'll also be really helpful.
Color Hex right now having trouble. Oh, looking for it, not quite. And this is going to be still the fight continuing, building up ultimates on both sides. Dante still a ways off of his EMP, kind of neck and neck right now with RCK. There's the hack on Color Hex, though, gonna drop him low, but he's got some terrain to hide behind. He may be able to survive this, and it looks like he will. Fusion's there to watch as far as back as well. Good communication here on the side of Boston, making sure that they're staying on top of things.
Muma got so low, you can only hold up that shield for so long.
We've lost Linkser as well.
Wow, so the tank line is completely down now. Houston's best hope is a stall here to get out on the point maybe. Muma's gonna go to Wrecking Ball to try to accomplish it.
Oh, you're actually gonna have the wings coming out. Boink eventually has to go down there. Single kill for the Barrage, but still, that's fine. That's value as far as Color Hex is concerned. Muma squeaking in dismay, has to roll away.
Is that a dismayed squeak?
It sounded like a dismayed squeak, like, oh crap, rockets!
Well, they made some switches late to the Houston Outlaws. Linkser went on to Tracer. This might have just been an attempt to try to get the stall back on, but it's not going to be the case. And the reason you use Valkyrie, you end up using a lot of alternates in non-ideal situations if you're Boston, is because you know you're going to switch first point captured off of DPS onto a more standard 3-3. And this one, again, it's going to come down to which Sombra gets the hack better off this time. EMP ready for Dante, RCK at 80. You just call that already EMP ready. Oh yeah, that's right. A switch by the heroes. Blase.
See what Blase is capable of. I mean, should have the tracking, should be able to play on Zarya, give him those damage rolls. This is still just trying to whittle things down here. The defense is looking pretty solid on the side of Houston. RCK's finally got that EMP online now, so we'll see what he's capable of. Gonna be setting it up, but they are so divided. Look at how spread out Houston Outlaws are right now. It's gonna make it very difficult to hit multi-hacks, and yep, sure enough, Raucus with the trance. Johnny on the spot, gonna be there to keep his team up, and Blase is gonna get pounded into the ground immediately.
That's really rough too, because RCK ended up using his ultimate, and they get nothing out of it. A better EMP from Houston, better follow-up there. Now it's just time to heal everybody up, go back in, and we go again. Fusions is outpacing Muma on the Shatter, though. That could be a big deal, but without the setup, it's very difficult to get a very good Shatter here.
They're just gonna go ahead and let him know if he happens to be around.
You gotta step into that Fire Strike with your bubble. Maybe you didn't get bubbles.
I'm out of here.
It's like old habits die hard, you know, Hex.
Yeah, you're not used to trying to step in front of Fire Strikes.
No, that's like a real Neo feeling when you're dodging Fire Strikes. You know, you see it coming. Oh, it's so slow. Move out of the way. Can't touch this. Just whittling them down right now. Boston, we've got just under 4 minutes in the bank for him here on the offense.
It's been a stunningly uneventful map. Not a lot of kills so far.
Oh, they're pretty much neck and neck on that, you're right. Fusion's going down. Oh my goodness, Persia. There's the Shatter, but Persia used the trance, and that is not gonna be good because the team is already lost. 3 down here for Boston Uprising. They're gonna get sent packing. Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, the moment they're able to isolate Fusions and he goes down, then you're just looking for a moment to hit a free Shatter, essentially. No shield up to block it. Unless they're god-tier bubbles from the opposing Zarya, you're gonna get something. And you just chuck it in there, and now with Transcendence used, Linkster has to be licking his lips.
Oh, he's gonna be feeling it right now, man. Because the graph is there, it is ready. Translocate, take note, guys, when you play Sombra, that's where to put it. Everybody who's gonna camp Sombra, that's probably where he's gonna try to translocate to, so.
I hate dying when my trance gets camped.
There it is.
Alright, slow going, slow push here for Boston. And they're getting attacked from all angles. Persia's very low.
EMPs on both sides, but again, Raucus is there. Raucus on point. That is what is so difficult about hitting the EMPs in this last point on the B point of Volskaya is everybody is split out, and Raucus has 30 places to hide. How are you going to get the EMP to hit that Zen?
2 for 2, and the Transcendence responds to the EMP, and that's what he was so good at against New York. Even though they ended up losing that series, that was where Houston finally showed signs of life in a revitalized Houston Outlaws team. So Boston with over 2 minutes now.
Boston
really to put together a good fight.
Boston really seem to be going back to the basics. They're taking their time with the bank and just building ults until they get all the 6 online. We saw that already once. So I mean, it seems like that's the game plan. Just take your time with it. And then Dante's gonna kill Persia.
It's tough when you have to step in and you maybe haven't gotten the scrim times with the team. You definitely haven't really had the stage time with the team to be able to call out where you're going to be, that you need help, and also, yeah, Sombra's just really good against Zen.
Not a whole lot that you can hope to do.
Low health hero, but that fight buys them enough time that Dante is probably going to have another EMP.
Oh, gets picked by RCK. A little bit of vengeance there for the Boston Sombra. Spawn is right there for Dante, so he shouldn't be too troubled by that. It will just delay the EMP a little bit, but RCK, you can see, forced to translocate back, so even Steven in the end, Fusion's trying to set up camp on the point. There's the graph to bring it in. Now let's see, how is this gonna go down? Kellis with the sound barrier to kick things off. Persia will have the trance up this time to negate the EMP. RCK's got the EMP about to come online here. It's a matter of Fusion surviving, and Fusion isn't gonna do it. 2 kills, just like that for Houston.
Another minute. It's only EMP for them.
Yeah, so at least RCK held on to it.
Yeah, I mean, Dante's charging it about 45 seconds faster than RCK, which is an enormous difference between the two Sombra players here. And Raucus, that play again on the razor's edge towards the end, was getting up to about 96%. Had to hit some shots to save his team. Everyone very low, but a clutch Transcendence late. This has to be a better EMP than we've seen thus far. Just looking for Raucus, but you don't have to be. You know he just used Transcendence.
Does he solo it on Rockets? Come on. Oh my goodness, he does. 2 hacked. Nova and Rockets, sound barriers there though, and that is going to be keeping him up. A follow-up hack on Dante, we'll see. Kelix is going to find the kill on Jake. That could be what gets the job done here, but you lose Blase. That's certainly not going to help things if you're Boston Uprising. That's a big source of damage gone. And now Dante's going to roll in with the EMP, and this is a disastrous result here for Boston Uprising. The offense completely crumbling.
Houston Outlaws are making really good use of having new players play support line for Boston.
Full-on abuse right now. Wheel him and deal him, that's right. 1 point picked up for Boston Uprising on the offense. We'll see how Houston Outlaws fare after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Helden sterben nicht. Justice reigns from above.
There you have it, Houston Outlaws with the solid defense in the first half of this map. Volskaya is where the battle's going down, Hex, and well, Boston Uprising right now struggling to find a solution.
It's been a story of Zens and Sombras, as this meta very likely will shake out to be. Dante is just going after Persia, and he eliminated him first, I think the last 2 fights in a row. He's just in the back line, all over him, getting a faster charge, better EMPs. And on the flip side of things, Raucus is playing really well against Sombra. And that's no surprise. He just seems to have the positioning really figured out.
He's just like Tracer. Like, I'm good versus Tracer. Sombra's gonna be a cakewalk. Houston Outlaws now on the offense. Let's see, what do we got going for us here? Boston Uprising on the defense. They've gone for some colorful play here, Hex.
Yeah, they're going defensive DPS. It can work. I mean, I think Boston, you know, I always respect teams for trying new stuff. They're trying new lineups. They're trying new compositions. Because what they were playing was not netting them map wins. Link for Widow, Jake Tracer. But the question is, how many D-Max will Jake get on a D.Va? Oh, there is no D.Va. 0.
That's the answer. And you still got Dante on the Sombra, still a threat. And right now, Linkster is just, he is loving life right now. This is exactly what he wants to be doing. Give me a Widow v Widow duel any day of the week. Now he's under pressure right now, though. They know what they need to do here, Boston. They need to not let Linkster get comfortable, but Jake in the back line, wreaking havoc. Color Hex finds a kill on Dante. Follow, boom, there it is. Looking for it, back to back to back. Linkster hitting all the shots.
That's somehow more impressive than a headshot. To get the double click there, to have the follow through, the wherewithal to follow it up. Oh my goodness, I have missed this hero.
Yes, I have. I have as well.
He's gonna go for another big grapple shot. They might switch off of this momentarily, but might as well take a peek. And that's it. Houston just needs 33% to go 2-0 into halftime.
They've got the boost on the line as well. Muma could be getting some fun there. Dante working on that EMP. That could be the game ender right here with so much time. 6 minutes 20 on the clock.
It's got to be up to RCK.
Needs to get the money EMP here to save his team. He's looking for it. Could very well find it right here. Massive target, 5 of them packed, and that's going to be a brutal send-off here for the Houston Outlaws. And unfortunately for Raucus, he actually used the nano.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, I thought he had.
I thought I heard it, but
I thought I saw the symbol there. But he's still got a check mark. Hex, how does this work?
I don't know. Games are complicated. This is actually fine for Houston because you know you're going to get EMP'd sometime in the fight, and it's fine to just not use anything. Now you can nano Muma and you can EMP yourself. So they're in a great position right now. Persia's got a, I don't know, maybe nano fusion, so you live through it, but they're just going to wait. They're just going to wait for Dante to get this. That's a great opening kill on RCK.
Yeah, get the sleep and get the follow-up. And now you're going to be pressing on. Kelix getting silence is going to help things here. Good support there, however, from Persia. And there's the EMP. Going to catch a whole bunch of people. Color Hex right now getting melted with Blase. Another hack onto Kelix. Kelix, go take a nap. Get back to spawn. RCK's out of it. And this is going to be it for Houston Outlaws. A last-second contest, but it will not be enough. And the Houston Outlaws go up 2-0 versus Boston Uprising.
Looking like 2018 Houston Outlaws. They were once a good team. I swear to God, they were at one point in time. They seem to have captured the magic. Let's see what our halftime crew has to say.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Houston, they go hard. The Outlaws looking to stay hot after a huge upset over the Shock last night. Currently one map away from taking a back-to-back series now against Boston. Welcome back into the Blizzard Arena, everybody. It's Puckett, I've got Brent, I've got Sideshow, and as you can see on our scoreboard, it is all Outlaws so far in this series. Woo! They didn't win a match in Stage 2. Now they're looking at pulling off back-to-back victories here in a fantastic Week 2 of Stage 3. Let's talk about this first map, though, because all kinds of DPS came out once again. I'm starting to love watching this Houston team.
Yeah, it's coming down to them playing to their strengths once again. We're seeing the Dante Summer, we're seeing Jake playing the Fire, which he's been known for in the past. He's got a pretty good fire at that. But again, Boston Uprising, I got some question marks with them because
that's a Puckett play right there.
They cut that off to save him embarrassment. I can respect the EVS team. I can really expect it. But again, the question is, why are Boston Uprising experimenting so much with their support line? This time we're seeing Persia and Kelix in. Previously it was Engod and Alamau. they just can't really seem to solidify what they want to run for this backline.
Well, it's not even just their backline. Both Blase and Colorhex have swapped roles as well. Right. And that's creating a bit of chaos within Boston, which is previously a very structured team. And Houston thrives in that kind of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
You're allowing them opportunity for Dante to be playing at his best on the Sombra, for other people to come out and be able to play those DPS heroes. Houston are loving this right now. It's just going to keep their momentum going.
Well, up to this point in the season, we've always given great credit to the Boston coaching staff. Do you think this is just a plan that has gone awry after that 3-week break? They put in a lot of time. They tried out these things. The scrims are working, and now all of a sudden they aren't? Or what do you think's going on with this team?
I think it's very difficult to speculate actually what the reasoning is. I mean, it's possible that that's the case, that they tried stuff and it was working. It's also possible that they want to mix around and maybe find a better roster and just assume they'll sneak into the 12th position anyway. Or, I mean, it's so hard to tell.
I ain't gonna lie.
It's been so different. I mean, it's been so different for Houston as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Patriots special, mate. They're just putting these players out, advertising them, trying to sell them. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, well, we'll see what Boston has in store for us in the second half. For now, though, we got to keep our eyes on Dante throughout this series. We hyped up the Sombra for what he did against the San Francisco Shock in their past matchup. And today, Josh, I know you've been following him very closely. What did you see?
Yeah, I've been on Sombra watch, and both of these two teams on Volskaya were playing Sombra against each other. So that creates a bit of a different situation. So I've got insights powered by Intel. I'm going to run you through just a little bit of the thought processes that were going through Dante's mind in this play in particular. So he doesn't have a diva to worry about on the other side. So instead, when he comes around, he spots Persia, and like a predator, he just approaches his prey, stalks him, and as soon as Persia takes a bit of damage, a right click comes in from Raucus, he finishes off the kill. Now, RCK is playing Sombra on the other side, and Dante actually gets hacked here as well. And this, I think, is going to be kind of, as the metagame develops, the hacks on enemy Sombras are going to become more and more important. Now, he doesn't actually get punished in this situation, ends up being able to get off a really sick EMP. But when teams start to get this a little more in their heads, and both Sombras are on the field, I think hacks like that are going to be really important, because those are the times where you can punish Dante, other real key Sombra players. If you just have kind of a man-to-man marking system of your Sombra with the other Sombra, you can really take a star player like Dante out of the fight. So I like the idea, the execution wasn't quite there.
We got to see if RCK can shut him down in the second half. You saw Sabiolbe doing similar work for the NYXL earlier today. But let's focus here on Houston, because they are the story of Stage 3 for me now, at least this week with their run. Let's take a look forward. What are their chances? Is this a playoff contending team potentially?
I think they are now. I requested this because I want to take a look at their upcoming matches. Houston Outlaws right now, they're on fire. They're playing stuff that they're comfortable on. They're winning against the mid-table teams a lot of the time. Powers Eternal, very winnable game. Mayhem and Justice, they should be winning these games. Defiant as well. Have we been too impressed with them? They seem to be struggling with this mixed roster. Again, another winnable game. We're looking at a scenario here right now where the Outlaws, I would be shocked if they don't make playoffs at the end of Stage 3 here.
But it all comes down to consistency. So far, the Outlaws have been very impressive, but Outlaws have been up and down throughout, honestly, the 2 years that they've been part of the league.
Sure, yeah.
So they have to keep it going.
Well, we mentioned it in the pre-show. Boston currently came into the day in that 12th position overall. You need to be in the top 12 if you want to play in the season-long playoffs. And Houston, they got a long way to go. Do they need a 4-0 today?
I think they need not just 4-0s today, but they need all the wins they can get moving forwards forever. Because even if Houston make the Stage 3 playoffs, there's still a chance that they wouldn't even make the 12th spot, because their first half of the season was so tragically awful. So they need every single win.
Houston on the up and up right now, and they're one map away from locking up this series. We'll find out. Can they do it? Numbani is coming up next.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
we're in business. Welcome back from the break, everybody, and the halftime show where Josh was enlightening us, dropping the knowledge on how to handle the Sombra v Sombra matchup.
Yeah, getting hacked as Sombra feels really bad because you can't translocate, and that's kind of really important as Sombra. I actually really like the bit on the schedule too, because if you want to get into that 12th spot, there are teams ahead of you that are now beatable now. Boston being one of them, Paris being one of them. Those feel like they count as 2 wins because you gave them an L while you took the W.
Well, you took the W, and they are definitely shaping up beautifully here. Houston Outlaws, they're carrying on from what they were capable of doing yesterday versus the Shock, taking down the best team in the league. No small task. But Houston, they could have sat on their laurels, they could have figured it out. No. They're continuing to pummel the opposition. 2-0 so far for Houston, and we're going into Numbani next.
And these are definitely 2 maps upcoming that you don't have to run a traditional 3-3 on, especially Numbani. Numbani I used to refer to as the lab. It was where teams ran a bunch of weird stuff constantly, and it was a joy to watch. But I think you can definitely run DPS offense and DPS defense on Numbani, should you so choose. And then really no one has Havana figured out completely.
Yeah.
But we know it's still a good Sombra map. You could run a bunker comp there as well.
You can do some really funky stuff on Havana for sure, but we definitely need more playtime there. Kind of curious here. Houston Outlaws on the defense. They're not going to be changing things up, so it looks like we will get some of that Linkster Fist. Look at the Jake on the Pharah.
This is still not going to be a Muma Symmetra. Sorry to hurt your feelings. I imagine it's going to be Wrecking Ball.
Wrecking Ball. Yep, there it is. Just going to roll his way into the fight.
All right. Well, Doomfist boxing match here. Appropriate map for it.
I like it. Nope, never mind. Linkster's going to change it up. No more Fist on the side of the Outlaws. Plenty on the side of the Uprising, though.
All right, we'll see where the initiation comes from here. Very similar compositions.
Point blank rockets, so much damage. Blase down, but we lose Boink and rockets in the meantime, and that's going to snuff it.
Yeah, that's the fight. You lose both supports right there. That one is over in the blink of an eye. Just an incredible amount of damage coming up. I mean, maybe they can stall this.
Taking down Color Hex. Can Dante get topped up again? No, they're not going to make it. Oh, yes, they will. Linkster. Muma, everybody's onto the point now. Boink and Muma here trying to hold. You got Jake even switching to the Soldier just to be able to sprint back in faster. They cannot leave the point, though, for an instant. RCK goes down. That's Linkster doing work. Now we've got 4 Houston bodies on the point, soon to be 6. They're into it, Hex. They are actually going to hold this.
Respawn advantage. It's a long time for the offense to walk up. And, you know, this Tracer play's been pretty good from Linkster. He clutched that out with some enormous kills there. Finishes out with style.
99.8%.
Call me when it's 99.9. Unimpressed.
That's nuts.
I can't believe they get back into it. Is Jake staying on this now? Because they have made like legitimate changes. Yeah, we're getting the 76 Numbani defense.
Just go full. Yeah, we nearly had the full throwback earlier. Now we're gonna get it. Jake on the Soldier. Boink, got to be careful. Looks like he ate a direct rocket there. That's not pleasant. Hack on Akelix, not quite. Just barely dodging it. Dante doing a good job of drawing attention to himself though, and that is going to slow things down with the push.
Well, they've nanoed the hamster. He got purpled there for a second, but now he's going to be able to chase it down. Nice trades, though.
Yeah. Oh, this is a big deal. Yeah, Color Hex gets res, but the rest of his team is dead. Kelix gave his life for that as well. We're down to 1 minute, 50 seconds on the clock here for Boston, and they should definitely be resetting and taking their time with this. They've got RCK with the EMP next.
Well, Dante's got an EMP of his own as well. Remember, they did get a lot of progress on their very first push, so they're at 66% here. Only need 33 more on that board to lock up first point. But now only 90 seconds remain on Numbani. It's probably one good fight. He's been going very quickly, though, so they might get 2.
They might, yeah, exactly.
Tactical Visor is going to be the great counter to the Mercy Far in the sky.
You get the boost visor as well. I mean, there's all sorts of fun here for the Houston Outlaws. There's the EMP out in the open. Everybody getting a piece. Dante just barely surviving, but that's 2 quick kills and a third as well. Yeah. Jake even went for the visor in that, and Ruckus used the boost. That's a lot put into this fight here on the side of the Houston Outlaws.
It really is. Kind of overlapping ultimates there. 60 seconds remain, and that fight went so quickly that Boston deleted from the map. They're going to have EMP. Not much to combo it. The difference between their Sombra play feels like Dante stays in and fights once he EMPs.
Yeah.
Whereas RCK is usually out of there. So Dante's getting that extra charge because he's still in the fray.
Well, there, Jake just having a rough time of it, but you've lost RCK again, down to 30 seconds on the clock here for Boston. And you just lost your key player. EMP out of the picture, has to run his way back in here. And if anybody else dies now on the side of Boston, it's going to throw a real wrench in things. Losing Raucus is going to help, though. That's big. A lot of heals gone now for the Houston Outlaws. You're going to lose Dante off the back of that. Surely now, Hex, they're going to get the job done.
They will get the job done, and don't call me Shirley.
Hey.
It was just too much overwhelming pressure there, and eventually they were able to pick off the support plays early on. So let's wonder what they're going to play now on defense as the second point opens. A lot of first points will play the ultimates game, the poke game with the DPS, but second point is usually a different story. Not if you're Houston. I love it.
Going over the top. Kershaw having a bit of a sad time of things. Insta pick, insta give, and you're gone.
Now the pack is hacked.
Where do you find a where do you find a follow-up? It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade. There's a sleep. Perfect on a fusion. Linkster, come on. Linkster, this isn't matchmaking. Just instantly wakes him up.
That was a little uncharacteristic there. Boston getting the kills they need to be able to push this point, though. There's really not any sustain on, well, either side right now. It's hopes that Jake is on the Soldier 76, of course, your own healing station. Let's see where Dante wants to come in with this. EMP into minefield here.
Oh, nearly finds it. We lose Jake. Jake is just having a real rough time.
RCK gets 2 in the EMP. He got Boink and Raucus, but he's out of there. There's no possible follow-up. His team's not following up either. Color Hex. Fire should not be dying to minefields.
No, that's a questionable play there. We're going to have Linkster going for the bomb as well on diffusions. And they are holding so far, Houston Outlaws. We're down to a minute on the clock once again here, Hex, and it's looking a little tight. Color Hex even going so far as to change it up to the Widow now.
The Widow can be good here because it's a really long sight line, and I imagine that Jake has been giving them trouble on the very distant high ground here. So that's to pressure Jake out, hopefully Dante.
That's
what
scary.
Sorcery is this? Who lives with 0 HP?
Oh, buddy, that is as good as it gets. Blase sent back to spawn, point blank. Jake hanging around. Jake's got the visor now, though. Raucus is still away off of the boost, so looking for a combo potential.
Linkster's a spawn, I think.
Is he really that far? Muma.
Enemy spawn. Muma went to join him, gives his life for it.
That's weird. He goes down, gets hacked immediately. That's not going to help things now because Muma being gone, he's going to roll his way back, but now Jake's on a mission. He's got the visor, making the noise. Yeah, exactly. Color Hex hears him coming. Ready for it, but he's drawing attention to himself. Minefield on the payload now. Not the most effective visor, but you're going to get takedown fusions, you're going to take down RCK, and that's certainly going to help. Thanks point blank Helix onto Blase with the help of Boink. Beautiful play coming in here for Houston, and they are going to hold. Just a matter of time now as Kelix taps the point, just barely keeping it alive for his team.
Ooh, Linkster with a double bomb off screen will just about seal that deal, and if it had not, the EMP would have right there. That is where the payload will stop for the Boston Uprising.
Super solid work here from the Houston Outlaws. They're looking so good right now. Actual smiles as well for the players, which feels like we haven't seen that in ages. We're taking a quick break, and we'll see how they fare on the offense right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Houston Outlaws getting the job done. They shut down the Boston Uprising on the defense. Only a single point picked up for Boston, and they barely got that. And now we're going to go into the offense and see what they're capable of there.
The hardest thing to do as Tracer in the Overwatch League is not die. Linkser did not die on that Tracer that entire match. Played Tracer the whole time, too. Really feels like he's... I think Tracer's one of those heroes who are just in the zone, and that's when these just are all hitting perfectly. You're going back in there. That's a bad closet to be in.
Man.
Almost gets 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's Kellex just like, whoa, I'm out of here, boys. Oh, had the wings.
But, I mean, it's really interesting that Houston has really embraced this. These are their strengths. These are their best players. Let's see what happens. And you can't say it's not good enough to beat good teams. They're beating good teams as well. I think there is a question, though, of when teams start adapting to this, because they've been playing 3-3 for so long. 3-3, you don't even have to turn around. You're just looking at the other team constantly. You don't have you have to do a 180 and find a Tracer behind you. So maybe a little bit of rust for some of these teams facing the DPS, but Boston just continues to try to DPS, and Linkser's unkilled streak goes down at the Fist of Blase.
Oh, so close. We lose Color Hex. Are they going to be able to get the res off? It looks like the punish is being attempted. Doesn't quite find it there, Jake. Too many, like a wealth of targets there. Just
really nice hack onto Dante, too. That's why RCK gets him. They're going to back out a little bit, just play some poke, try to build some ults.
Put your security in their hands.
Yeah, 3 minutes on the clock here for Houston. Still a good bit of room to work with. There it is. There's a juicy target. Gonna go ahead and say hi. Yep, Raucus is there. RCK working together. I like this from Boston Uprising when you can get them to work together on the flanks. Raucus had nowhere to go.
Dante's nearing EMP, but it's not ideal versus these compositions. You have to settle for which target you want. You're not gonna get giant 6-man EMPs against this kind of comp, so you have to pick your supports or just pick a target that goes a little too far out.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Linkser's out of it. Dante gonna be waiting, playing patiently again, I do believe.
They're playing kind of a squad style here, where it's Linkser and Muma going in on a dive. Obviously, Farrah and Mercy. Big EMP.
Gets 3 minimum, and that's gonna be a big opening. Now Blase out of the fight. Nano onto RCK though, so that's gonna make him a bit more tough to deal with. We'll see if he pays off though. Jake, you gotta get in disguise, mate. You gotta get in disguise. This is not happening. You get silenced.
Got grounded.
Oh, this is getting messy. Moma, unreal. He is eventually going to go down. Body block. No, he manages to roll his way out.
Shields are pretty good.
He's looking for the Fusion's body block there.
Yeah, the EMP just didn't find the correct targets there. It's gonna be difficult. Like I said, everybody is everywhere at once in these compositions. So you're not gonna get giant ones. Triple blink pulse bomb style points.
Go, go, go. Do it. Nice rocket there, Jake. It's like your Pharah has to touch the point. This is getting silly. Kellex goes down. There's a barrage. Ah, this is the opening they were looking for Houston. 3 quick kills. Kellex goes down. Perfect. All works out in the end for Houston.
Blase went aggressive and got punished for it. And now they're gonna try to come back in. I feel like they're just feeding meter at this point.
Yes, Fusions, that was unfortunate, but he's gonna get sent back to spawn. And there it is. So, what is the play now for Houston? Because they don't have that far to go, just around the bend.
I mean, the play for Boston should be to fight as close as they can to spawn and make them fight more than once. They gotta get in position to do so first.
Oh,
waiting for you.
Perfect. Oh, he gets the no, he got robbed. Dante, you gotta get out of dodge, buddy.
Lands on the hack pack. Feels tough, man. EMP ready. They've completely reset their ults here, though.
Yeah, EMP is there. Counter comes through. That's a hack at least. RCK still working his way up to it, but they are going to find success on one fight here for Houston Outlaws and more progress made for the payload.
When you reset your composition to go back to 3-3, you need that enormous EMP and a big team fight win to start pulling even on these ultimates. They do just that. Nice play there from Dante. See if the swing back comes from Boston. They've got an EMP of their own ready right now. They have to use it. Green box of victory right there.
Yeah, right in front of their faces.
Oh, he gets caught.
Out of the stealth, he's now going to be vulnerable, and he's out in the open. Let's see, can they capitalize on this? 3 hacked on the side of Houston. Dropping low, Boink doing the best he can to keep them topped up, and somehow Houston Outlaws, they survive. Spoke too soon, though. We lose Dante in the back line. They're trying to trade it. RCK on the edge. Somehow survives. And it's 1:50 on the clock, and Houston decide to back off and play it safe.
Nanobrig does buy them the time. Another Nano is going to be up for Houston, though. They're going to have definitely the better ultimate economy right now. Get another fight in there, and EMP will be up before this match ends at 90 seconds remaining.
Oh, let's see, there it is. Big boost onto Muma, looking to go ahead and start swinging. Does get knocked back. Good play there by Color Hex, but Fusions, boom, goes down, and there's the Shatter. Nothing to stop him. He's going to find another kill. Yep, Color Hex gets smushed. And Houston Outlaws Hex will get the job done versus Boston Uprising 3-0. Clean.
Look like an entirely different team when they just play DPS. And I gotta say it to Flame, just play DPS, Forehead. Seems to be working, hard to argue with. We've got map 4 coming up right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Hex, they did it! Houston Outlaws 3-0 over the Boston Uprising. They continue to find success.
The neon green just looks a shade brighter today, as, you know, there were still some questions as, is this a fluke? I didn't think it was a fluke because of how well they played against New York, right? So that look, no one had them beating San Francisco. I actually called they would win the first map, but I didn't think they were going to win the whole set. And now they're beating teams that, do we dare start saying that they should be beating?
Exactly right. Map set, last one, Havana. It's a lot of green right now. That's fitting though, it's the green wall. Everybody over at Green Wall is doing well today. I think over at COD World League, they're just crushing. So, you know, congratulations. Green Wall is big today. But, you know, Houston Outlaws, let's see, do they keep it together and lock it down 4-0 for that map differential, or do they let Boston Uprising breathe?
Yeah. And Houston is really far behind in maps, so you really actually do need a map 4 victory here. I actually think they're so far behind in maps it might not really matter, but you still want to win. What better place to check out a new map than Havana? Looks like we are going to get a mirror match, and Jake gets mirror matched in the face.
I like that. Dante's just looking to hack anything at that point. Persia goes down. Now you're going to have Dante in that back line. Blase gets sniped by Raucus. But this isn't going to help Houston. They've got a longer way to run back into the fight, so this is going to be some free payload progress for Boston.
Well, Blase, I think he turned to try to help deal with Dante in the back line. Get him turns, opens up a shot. Raucus did that volley. Corner control here. Most maps where you're running a Reinhardt 3-3 variation, although this is Sombra variation of it. You do want to play these corners.
Just a lot of Sombra. Muma
really trying to get this hack.
So close each time as well. Scary times for Muma. That's not comfortable.
Now let's see what happens when RCK EMP is next. Does he stay in and fight? We'll see in a little bit.
Yeah.
He just goes down right there. But that has been the big difference in just this brief sample size. Every time we see RCK EMP, he's gone. He's out of there. He's not contributing to follow-up hacks once this EMP dissipates. Look, the gun can do a lot of damage. You can track these heads. That's why Tracer players have been so good at transitioning to Sombra as well. But Dante is in, you know? He EMPs and he's like, well, you guys can't do anything now, so how about I shoot you in the face?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Dante, he's a DPS player, man. He is a damage dealer. A damage dealer out for damage dealers' hearts. Likes to get in there and rip him out. Good man. High brew. Now we got the EMP attempt here from RCK. Gonna go ahead and come on through. Just, yep. TP's out of there.
Got 6, though. That was an enormous EMP. I'll forgive that one if you get everybody on the team.
No, the Houston Outlaws, though, they've still got time to reach challenge. We cut it pretty close, but the payload right there, that's the first point that Boston Uprising are hoping to push.
Payloads are notoriously slow in Overwatch, so they will be able to get back out here. Both teams EMP-less, but Houston with every other single ultimate. This one's all about execution.
Yeah, rallies. Jake just doesn't even care about giving armor to his team. Goes straight in for his counterpart. There's the grab, right on through. Raucus is there, solo shatter on a color hex, but again, just so much healing. Doesn't matter for Boston, though. They're getting overwhelmed in the end.
A nice shatter there by Muma, isolating a target, getting the charge kill on him too, and then a nice bash into fusions to clean him up. So, at the end of the day, when the dust clears, everything used for Boston, most everything used for Houston, but hey, they won the fight, so you'll take it.
They got the job done.
1 minute left. Dante could probably get there. Both of these Sombras, if they're aggressive, should be able to get an EMP in a minute.
I mean, this guy, he just keeps getting hacks. Muma has to back off, but Persia again, this time gets sniped by Linkser. We're losing these Zens.
Yeah, it's not just been losing Zens, it's just been straight up losing Persia. He's died first in a lot of fights, regardless of what hero he is on, and that's just, it's kind of par for the course. When you put in new players like this, they're likely going to have a couple of mistakes positionally, or just get caught out from the rest of their team. I don't want to put the blame simply on Persia. This is just kind of an amalgamation of Boston mixing things up maybe too much.
Yeah, not finding the right solution. The teams aren't working well together. Or at least that's leading to this result now. Could also be that Houston are just playing exceptionally well. There's the EMP, double onto Jake and Muma, but the sound barrier is there from Boing. And now you're going to get the counter, full-on EMP from the side of Dante, and this is going to be a whole 6 seconds left on the clock. Cue the dramatic music as the Houston Outlaws shut down the offense. Boston Uprising, that's as far as you go.
Very good defensive hold from the Houston Outlaws. Smiles come out on stage. You can play a little looser now because you've already won the series. Need to start getting these 4-0s though for map differential. Boston look out of sorts.
Boston definitely look like it's a full-on struggle. Fusions, not quite the full face palm, but definitely not looking too jazzed.
Yeah, it's getting kind of quiet over there, and that's usually a bad sign for the Boston Uprising.
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to be... Yeah, exactly. Tough situation here for Fusions, trying to figure it out. I mean, what do you do if you're... Because with him showing up on the team is when you started to see that upswing. RCK as well seemed to fit the system well.
Yeah.
Right now, it really feels like, at least in the tank and the damage line, things are looking good.
Yeah, it's just this very strange mix-up of moving Color Hex and Blase around to new heroes and then bringing in support line changes. It just looks like, well, I mean, it really is a very different Boston team than it was at the beginning of the year. It's literally different players. Waits for the shatter to come back. I still don't think you should get shattered on your card.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I dislike it. It happens to me way too often.
Oh, buddy. Going for the hot beverage as well.
Hey, air rats.
They just carry disease.
I'm sure there's some pigeon fan out there.
I don't know, pigeons, they're vermin. They are actual flying vermin. They're everywhere. Screw them.
All
right, let's go.
Defensively, no changes here for the Boston Uprising. They're going to hold front door with the Sombra variation of the 3-3 composition. Offensively, hey, why not? Just a good way to crack big shields right in front of your door.
Oh, there's the MP. Gonna back off, though. And then
Persia.
Oh man, Persia's died first every time so far, I'm pretty sure. That is brutal. Kelix goes down as well, not gonna help things, and now the pirate ship is gonna set sail. Just go ahead, right over the top.
Links or dies just to make it appear more even. Not gonna be the case though. This is kind of the strategy they used to run on Junkertown. Although Raucus would be playing the Hawk.
Oh, this is so hard. Oh, how do you deal with this? This is disgusting. The high ground setup behind an Orisa shield into the halt. Hey, there you go. There's one.
He's gonna walk away. He can heal himself if he wants. Trying to give that charge to healers though.
Oh, no way.
They just moved him. They just moved him.
Change places.
There was a change to the Bastion several patches ago where the damage fall off is this bad. So he's just this giant Gatling gun sniper.
And they can just keep doing this over and over again. Back and forth, using the Sim teleporter. This is disgusting. There's the EMP. Hey, you guys want a challenge? I don't think you get to do anything at all.
This is demoralizing.
And now you're gonna get the full-on tank mode straight into the fray. Jake doing damage. Kelix goes down. Jake just having a ball right now, and this is gonna be the Houston Outlaws obliterating the defense and collecting a 4-0 win over the Boston Uprising.
The first sweep for the Houston Outlaws since 2018, stage 4, week 1. It's been a while since they put a 4-0 on that board. And Boston, it is back to the drawing board. Fusions is not happy, and why would you be?
He just slammed the desk. I haven't seen that in a while from a player.
I like passion. I don't care what form it takes.
Absolutely.
You should hate losing. I hate losing more than I like winning, and there is a difference.
Exactly, that's what makes the difference. In the end, let's say Houston Outlaws making their way back. They find the success that they were looking for, 4-0 to their names. Fusion's not pleased, but that is going to serve as fuel to motivate.
They're only 2 matches behind the Boston Uprising in the standings. They've got Paris coming up soon, does the Houston Outlaws. They could definitely make a climb here. And it's a very confident team right now. Speaking of confidence on the floor, we've got Mika with Raucus.
Thanks, guys. We're here with Raucus. Give it up for Raucus and the Houston Outlaws, everybody. Oh, I love hearing them cheer for you. It's so nice. So it can be said that your hardest matches are behind you. This is an amazing stage for the Houston Outlaws so far, and it looks like it's pretty likely you'll be seeing your first stage playoffs all season. So what do you do to make sure they don't put the cart before the horse and get too excited and kind of slip backwards?
To be honest, I don't think we're thinking about stage playoffs right now. We're just focusing on one match at a time because, you know, we have a long way to go if we actually want to make it after struggling last stage. And I think this stage is going to be really good for us because we're focusing on our strengths and we're finding all these new strats and counter strats, and so far we have the momentum to go forward. Yeah.
Absolutely, you do. And we noticed backstage that you on Zen and on Ana have been really avoiding the Sombra EMP. So do you have any tips out there to rising support players who want to play support as well as you do?
I think, honestly, just have a team as good as mine. My team is actually helping me so much when it comes to dodging like Sombras and stuff. We're spy checking really well, and they're making me look really good out there. So.
That was really pure, and now I'm emotional. Well, thank you, Raucus, and thank you, Houston Outlaws. You put on an amazing show today. That's all we have down here. Back to you guys.
Yes, thank you, Raucus. Not only for the hair, but for the performance. But I mean, this is what happens when you get blasted that way. You can have reactions like this one. And Fusions, man, it's been a while since I've seen that. Just full-on rage.
I did that. That's rough. I mean, they played so well when he got brought into the lineup, and in many ways became the star of this rebuilt Boston Uprising team. And his team just got rocked. They just got rocked by a Houston team who had done almost nothing all year. New Houston's pretty good, though. The Houston we've seen in Stage 3. Let's take a look at our Omen by HP player of the match. It's the Linkser, Finland's gift to esports.
Yeah, we got to see the Tracer. We got to see some Widow. It's good. It's so good, Hex, and we're starting to see some damage dealers again. This is where a player like Linkser gets the shine. He's a specialist.
Yeah, he's great when he doesn't have to play both the Tracer and the Widow. They couldn't fill those roles last year. He picks one, he goes off on it. That double body shot on Volskaya, I found enormously impressive. and then he didn't die. Numbani is Tracer. Any Tracer who plays Overwatch League will tell you, the hardest part about playing Tracer, just not dying. Just always be around, always be annoying. He was in the back line all day. That Boston back line is gonna have nightmares of anyone wearing green.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Linkser, glad that he got his opportunity. But guys, just to remind you, there is the Watchpoint post-show, and Fusions will be on it.
Must-see
so after our last match today, be sure to stay put because the desk will be going live, and we'll get to have Fusions there. Perhaps answer some questions, give some insight into what's going on in the team. But we're not done yet. There is one last match coming up, and that is going to be the Gladiators, the Los Angeles Gladiators versus the Philadelphia Fusion. That'll be happening in just a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
You're powered up. Get in there. Fire at will. Apagando las luces. Apagando las luces.
Pass into the iris.
Heroes never die. Team up for resistance.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have one more match here today. We're going to have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the LA Gladiators and see who can come out on top of this one. Obviously, home crowd going to be backing the Gladiators. That crowd looking forward into the future, the grand final, hoping that Philly Fusion can make their way into the Wells Fargo Center for that grand final matchup.
Yeah, the Gladiators coming in as big favorites. They've had more consistent performances in this meta as of late. And if you take a look at the standings, it's reflected here as well. You can see the Gladiators sitting very comfortably in 5th, whereas the Fusion have dropped down to 10. And a loss here would put them at even 8-8. And this is not something you'd expect from defending finalist Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, certainly not. Gladiators, though, looking to maybe slingshot their way over top of the Spitfire, climb into that top 4 spot with a victory here today. So we'll see if they can attain that for themselves. But things have not been great for the Fusion, as you're kind of alluding to here, Wolf. With that victory, like you said, kind of breaking even with the 8-8. Things have really been rough for them, even here at the start of Stage 3, but throughout the entire 2019 season as well.
Yeah, you and I talked about it a lot when we commentated this match where they faced off against the Spark, but it didn't really feel like we saw a lot of improvement from the Fusion in terms of 3-3, and they're running a lot of Sato on the Winston in cases where you wouldn't normally see it. A lot of attack Winston from them, a lot more Winston on maps where you don't see the Winston. They tried to go back to comfort for Sato, and unfortunately, even though he's a very talented Winston player, he's phenomenal mechanically, there's just limits to what you could do in this meta. And if you take a look at Sato's rankings, you know, across the board in terms of team fights this season, you can see he's still up in top 10, even top 4 in team fight win rate, hero damage per 10, 5th, but sometimes it doesn't convert well into long-term success. Ultimate's not as impactful as, for example, a Reinhardt Shatter. So, you know, Sato unfortunately might have to play more Ryan.
Yeah. But taking a look here at the Gladiators schedule remainder, we're going to have Fusion here today, followed up by Justice, then the Dragons, the Defiant, and then the Titans. So a couple tough opponents in there, the Titans especially, having to face them twice in a single stage is a pretty arduous task to try to come up with a victory. They're able to get that 4-0 over the Fuel at the beginning, only picked up one map versus the Titans, but otherwise the Gladiators still looking pretty darn good. So let's go ahead and bring them out on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, your home team, the LA Gladiators.
Gladiators on the up and up right now, and a lot of people thought they might be able to take out the Titans. They'll get their second chance at the end of this stage, but they come in again as favorites here against the Philadelphia Fusion. They have mastered this meta. It took a little bit of time. It took some time to get used to Decay on the roster. He wasn't here to start. Surefour slotted back in as a main player on this team, and this is the most comfortable the Gladiators have looked this year. Surefour will again be on the starting roster here with Void. And, I mean, this is terrifying for the Philadelphia Fusion. They are weak in 3-3, and the Gladiators have got it figured out.
Yeah, looking for Fusion to step up. Gladiators going to be looking for a very dominant victory to try to break in to that top 4. We can see if they do it by taking down their opponents. Let's go ahead and bring them out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Philadelphia Fusion.
For the Fusion, you know, they haven't lived up to 2018 glory, but they're still in the top half of this league. But how long can they hold on to that standing? How long can they hold on to that ranking when everyone else is leveling up in the 3-3? There's somber experimentation. Will the Fusion be left behind, or will they rise to the occasion? A win over the Gladiators tonight would be a massive upset, but it's exactly what the Philadelphia Fusion need right now more than anything.
Absolutely. Need to be climbing those standings, need to, you know, instill some faith in their fans. Because this is a team that hasn't been changing things up at all. Still running a 3-3, still running the same exact roster. With middling success, they need to start climbing those standings. I mean, similar thing over from the Outlaws, now starting to climb up. If Fusion can't do it, what does that mean for these teams overall in Stage 3?
And talking about on the other side of things, we talked about Surefour being cemented back into the starting lineup. You know, oftentimes he was benched at the beginning of the season. We saw a lot more hydration, but he's in here, and a lot of that comes to his excellence on the Bastion and how well his team can run around him in bunker compositions where the Gladiators are having so much success. And we talked about how they've mastered the 3-3 mirror with Decay, but on maps like Paris, they've got a fantastic win rate. Their bunker comps are unbeatable at the moment, and for Surefour, you've got to slot him in there when the map pool is suited to it, and we'll take a look at those maps right now.
Yeah, we will. Presented by Toyota as per usual. No Paris this time. We'll be starting on Oasis, then we'll move into Volskaya again here for Assault, followed up by Eichenwald and Dorado. So a couple opportunities for those bunkers if they're feeling cheeky enough, especially on Eichenwald point A defense. But time will tell. For now, let's go ahead and get ready to jump into control.
We certainly have seen bunker run on Oasis as well. Not on University, where we will be starting, but we have seen teams running on the high ground. when Batiste first came out in particular. Looks like it will be the 3-3 mirror to start things off. Reinhardt, Zarya. Sato not daring to go Winston here. Is wiser for it.
Yeah, University, not so much a Winston map. See how he fares in that front line up against Aurora. The Korean main tank already. Roar taking a bit of damage here on the side. Okay, hovering nearby to try to back him up in case he needs those bubbles. Nice move forward there from Neptuno, but the rest of the team has already pulled around to the other side of the pit, so no one able to collapse forward onto the Reinhardt. Shaz taken down, Poco into the back line, gets rid of that Zen, and now down into the pit goes Roar. Gonna be charging back over towards his spawn to try to rejoin. Gladiators making the call. No need to try to fight this one, they just give them the point.
Look at EQO's ult charge. He's at 75. He had very big clutch heals, especially there on the Sato at the end to allow him to push the limits of what Reinhardt is capable of to get that opening pick. Also did extra damage, so he's going to have rally way faster. And the ult charge sometimes shows the Brigida's effectiveness. He is spotted. He'll have to back away here around this corner. But already a great start for the Fusion.
Yep, another armor pack out there. As you're mentioning, 95%. Now Rally gonna be online, pops that one instantly into the back. It's gonna be Poco. You can see him there, that silhouette. Gonna get popped out of the mech this time. Shaz finding the better of that Diva. And we'll go ahead and fill up the pilot form. Roar going lower and lower. That's gonna call for the Transcendence to come out now from Shaz. Grab tossed in, Boombox pops the Transcendence pin. Gonna connect onto him while he's still in ultimate, but the fight's still looking quite good for the Gladiators as they try to get this fast flip up on the walls. This Neptuno, but Roar, he's got a reach there with the hammer. They managed to take him down, clean up Sato. The flip comes through. 49% here for Fusion.
Shaz may just very well be the best Western Zenyatta player right now, and that timing there, while it looked greedy, he's able to track Carpe, very likely doesn't have grab. They can kill him early. He's going to come back to this fight with no energy, so the grab's less effective, and they still have Big Goose with the sound barrier, so I like that commitment there. It guarantees you the flip. Things could have gotten out of hand otherwise. Now Roar's got to be careful here. He's getting flanked.
With the grab online from Carpe, they have to be careful. Even with a sound barrier shield coming through, they can get taken down. Push forward comes in. They see Void over to the side. Not going to find the eat. Beat comes in instantly. The bomb thrown out to buy some space. And even gets a pick on the Neptuno. That's absolutely crucial here for the Los Angeles Gladiators. And he nearly had that beat online, so maybe if he doesn't die, an extended fight could be found for the Fusion, but instead, they have to go ahead and peel their way back. Gladiators getting ready to take the lead.
Majority of the damage coming through from Decay and Shaz, which means the support ultimate Pendulum swings back to Shaz. They've got one online, basically non-stop between the two of them. They're staggering those to make sure they can take old efficient fights. Here's the rally for EQO.
Grab right at the entrance. They get the U-turn there on Asado, pushing him into the back, but no one else really there to try to get that kill yet. Even stunned up, he will be able to survive for a bit longer. Shatter out from Roar, unable to find anything. The beat is there from Neptuno. Fusion still a fighting chance in the fight as the Transcendence gets ready to expire from Shaz. No kills to be found, but Gladiators, they still hold control. Now above 70%.
Super important they force the trance.
Shatter out from Sato, stuns up two off screen. Decay and Aurora going dangerously low. The push forward here from Void. It's going to be a double here for Carpe. Only Sato on the exchange for the Gladiators. Self-destruct even going to be used by Void, so he can make it back into the bomb. The cleanup is there, and Fusion regain control of the point.
He's trying to get back into the mech so they can try to pull this to 99. Does not happen. You've got to know your win conditions in these fights. Philadelphia Fusion knew in that choke where they forced the fight, there'd be no way for the Gladiators to defend without Transcendence, and Shaz had just used it previously. So the Philadelphia Fusion doing everything right to wrestle back control. And the gap here is only 20%, so if they win this next fight, that is almost a shoo-in for the first round.
They'll need to get that Transcendence online or just kill off Big Goose. Fire strike from Sato, looking good. Does take him down. That gives them a lot of space to push forward. They get the kill on Roar now. Well, some additional charge coming through, and Boombox will be able to have that Transcendence online before Decay can use the grab.
Yeah, that's huge. That's going to be really what may determine this first round. Roar's going to have that extra shatter. And that's huge too, because that might be something they could pair with the grab, even though Boombox is going to have the trance. The shatter might be the follow-up they need. Void looking for the flank here to help set this up, force Masato into an uncomfortable position.
Still right up into the front, seeming pretty comfortable right now. Decay going to be building up that energy. Threats on all sides, can't tell which way to look really. That's also spot out for that demon to make sure that this Graviton Surge does not get eaten. Shatter's gonna come out from Sato. Then to find Chaz, he's gonna be taken down. The Transcendence unable to be used. Bomb into the back from Poco, looking for a pick. Doesn't get one. Drop into the pit there from Void, just trying to stay in the mech. The Shatter is out for more, but the fire strike to the face from Sato takes him down. We're at 99% OT bar, already plummeting rapidly. Hoop down into the bottom. EQO under pressure, gets taken out. Void finds the kill, the flip coming back in. Gladiators not going down without a fight. The beat is used by Neptuno without the rest of the team. They managed to find Decay. So playing forward though is Void, and he has got a perfect angle for all of these supports. They get rid of Sato. The bomb will buy them some space as they tick up to 100. Can anyone even tag in? They finally managed to do so. It's Poco alone, but he instantly gets taken out of the mech. Should be finished off. Doomfist into the back, comes through from Carpe. Chunked down to half. Maybe just dead, he is. Void comes up with another crucial kill here for his team as they try to dwindle this overtime bar down. Somebody's got to tag in. Neptuno is going to be the one to do it, but it costs him his life as Big Goose has his number. Sato dead at the front, now EQO just swinging around, but everybody, their health bars in shambles. They cannot play forward. The Gladiators, they take the first round, but man, it was close.
The one check mark remaining for the Gladiators' ultimates when that point finished was Shaz on the Zenyatta. Remember, the Philadelphia Fusion stunned him with Sato's Earth Shatter, and they eliminated him from the fight. He was unable to Transcendence. They still won a 5v6. He never needed to use the Transcendence the entire time. So think about that. Philadelphia Fusion lost that round despite a man advantage, despite ult advantages. Shaz never had to use the Transcendence. That in itself is concerning about Philadelphia Fusion's ultimate usage overall, especially in terms of the Graviton surges when you're looking at Carpe versus Decay. Because if you're not even able to force your opponent to use Trance, that's a bad outlook. We will see Carpe on this Sombra, at least for the outset of this, as they are running a completely different comp. This is not what Fusion normally does, but I love to see a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of change here.
Yep, the 3-1-2 coming in for Fusion. Triple DPS, so Gladiators going to be pushing back over to the spawn to swap this out. Fusion should be able to grab a little bit of percentage here off the initial cap. You see the swaps coming into Shaz, going to move over to the Moira, Roar onto the Winston, and Decay onto the Sombra.
Sure for Hog, something I always love to see. Decay's no slouch on the Sombra.
Instant leap forward here onto the point from Roar, but he is getting chewed apart. Vince Matrix has to be used to try to keep him alive. Sure 4 comes up with the kills. Poco goes down. Now Sato taken out as well. So solid here for the Gladiators, but a big heal. Another hook! The Roar! Oh man, he gets the hook on the Neptuno. Can't finish him off with the right click. Perfectly aimed. Does go ahead and finish off that Mercy. Gets him out of the fight, and in all of that, Fusion did not get the initial cap. So now it's Gladiators first on the board.
You've got to run something like a Roadhog when you're trying to swap to match compositions because you don't otherwise have pick potential, and Surefour gets the first 2 hooks into 2 kills, flips the point, could swap heroes now because it's no longer relevant, and they do have control of this point. The Fusion will swap to 3-3. Gladiators will keep the Sombra because they know that that's what's going to allow them to hold this push. In theory, as long as they can build that EMP, they're 60% of the way there.
But this is going to be a Zarya-less approach here from the Gladiators. They have Void on the Diva, but Surefour over onto the Brig. Decay would normally be the Zarya for them, but he's so close to an EMP, but now he's going to be taken out of the fight. Instantly melt him down. 40% so far accrued here for the Gladiators as that Coalescence comes in. EMP tossed out. Hacks 3, and the kills do follow. The rest of the team trying to escape. Shash is going to be fading out over onto the point, has the healing orb. Will buy a little bit of extra percentage to get them over 50, but otherwise, it's a matter of time here as Goose gets hacked, Fusion get the flip.
So usually teams will actually swap their Vegeta player over to Zarya in these cases where the Zarya player is on the Sombra. It's very rare, only a few teams do this. But the Gladiators clearly not comfortable with this at the moment, putting Surefour in that role. So they end up losing this fight and losing about 80% of an EMP. And that's really frustrating, you know, when you have to reset your Zarya, you're behind in that ult charge as well. You've given the point away. But they can certainly take it back. But this first fight here is not going to be easy. They're ultless as they make the approach.
Fairly costly. Rally's going to be out. Nano tossed in. Carpe nearly picked off at the start. Sato tries to get the block, but EQO off away from the Reinhardt. Does get taken down. Shatter is online, Roar is pushing forward. Shatter gonna be dropped in, but doesn't find any kills, and Roar manages to take down Sato. So maybe another fast flip back into the favor of the Gladiators as they come up with 2